all of my time into this always. And to be honest, it kind of has to work out because my academic career wasn't amazing. Video gaming is kind of all that I have. So I don't really have a lot else to put, a lot more energy to put into it. It's everything that I can.
They say, like, do what you love, and I really, really like playing Overwatch. I make fun of the game a lot and, complain about balance patches and stuff, but I really do enjoy the game. I want to make a career out of it.
So I started playing Overwatch in October 2016. That was like season 3. My first ranking ever was 900. So I started in like bottom bronze.
Playing games for money and playing games for pro and going against really good people. And it's always like a dream. Realizing that if I stick to it, this might be something I can actually do something with and be proud of.
When I was originally in Diamond, some guy in my Diamond game a while ago said, "We're never going to go pro, we're Diamond, why are we trying so hard?" And I basically said, "Screw you, I'm going to go pro."
We have now learned that we do have this potential and we need to use this. We need to continue practicing and working harder.
When you look at tier 3, a lot of us have been at the bottom of the barrel. We've been in the downs and the dumps of, the Overwatch ladder system.
I think as a team going into Trial of Champions, now we know we can do this.
Making it to Contenders Trials proves to myself that all the hard work that I'm putting into it is actually doing something.
I went to the Atlanta Reign homestand, seeing those players up on stage. That was the moment I was like, that's who I want to be. I want to do everything I can to get there.
Sigma, oh, whoa, oh man, rock with a K. This is W. Oh my God, the wall just set it up. They had no idea.
The Overwatch League players already made it. They're as high as you can get. They're playing for money and they're playing for clout. But for us, in Tier 3, we're basically playing for our future. If we want to make it, we have to play every match our hardest.
The unique strats that you see in Overwatch League, they all start here.
I am making this dream that I've had for so long, a reality.
At the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, is to play the best Overwatch we can against the best players we can to prove that we're the best.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Trial of Champions presented by Elo Hell. I am Sir Waltham, joined by Dryad. We are going to be looking at our round of 16 matches today. More specifically, we're going to be seeing Sakura versus Lunaris moving ahead. Once again, a very exciting map to be going up into. And then, as a little bit of a preview, we will be taking it to the first game in the losers bracket, so losers round 1. If you prefer, we're going to be throwing the bracket up on screen just so you guys can get a read for where everything will be standing. As we can see, Lunaris and Sakura, kind of confusing the names there, going to be right smack dab in the middle of that bracket. At the bottom, you can see the losers brackets. Now, Dryad, how are we feeling about this? What's our confidence level for these teams?
Yeah, I'm very, very excited actually to see we're down to only 16 teams and we're going to be starting the action today with Lunaris, like you mentioned, against Sakura Esports. This is going to be really, really interesting because like we see in the bracket, the winner is going to have to face whoever the winner is between Ardor and Self-Made. And going a little bit ahead here, but we know that Self-Made is a very, very interesting team with a bunch of streamers, a bunch of content creators for Overwatch that we really, really love. So I'm very curious to see who is going to take the victory, who is going to face them off. And these two teams are really strong, like we saw last week, actually, or like we saw a few days ago, where both of them took the victory 3-0 against their opponent. So they're looking pretty good. They're around at the same level, and this is just, we're getting closer and closer to those playoffs, to really deciding who's going to be on top.
Certainly well said there, as the schedule does come up. Sakura Esports versus Lunaris here to start. Then moving on, next game will be that losers round 1 that I mentioned. Don't know who's there yet because we don't know who's lost. It might be either one of these two teams that we're seeing. It's just going to be, we're just going to see how it shakes up. We will most likely be going into the most readily available between these matches. So we'll see who's available at the time of the conclusion between Sakura and Lunaris. But before we get into that, we will be taking a quick look at some of these rosters. Dryad, why don't you run us through them?
Yeah, definitely. So for the DPS lineup for Sakura Esports, we're going to have Toxio and Shin. These are very, very strong players that I'm excited to see. On the tank line, there's going to be Cheddar and Rouge. And finally, for the supports, Nox and Drake. So this is very, very exciting to see. This team has a lot of synergy going on. Watching their previous matches, they have been absolutely amazing. And then on the side of the Lunaris, we're going to be having Chopper, Cave, Borkin, Specs, Madero, Gunther. They're all absolutely amazing as well. I'm very, very excited also to see the tank line with Specs and Borkin. They have had some really good results in the past and other teams and previous matches with this team. So I'm very excited once again just to see how they're going to perform today.
I am certainly excited as well. A couple of familiar names, at least if you've been following the Tier 3 scene for long enough. But as we do start to look ahead, we do have the map layouts coming up here in just a moment. It will be loser's choice with the higher seeded team starting off the pick for the control maps that will be. And we'll be going into those control maps then. If memory serves, although my memory certainly not as great as it used to be, Dryad, it will be Assault, Hybrid, Escort, and then back to Control if necessary for a round 5. This is a first to 3, best of 5, more accurately, first to 3 going forward here. So, not the quickest maps, not definitely those best of 3s that can be over in a flash.
Yeah, and one of the most interesting things about Overwatch is that we're usually start with control maps, and this means that whoever has a better control is going to be taking the advantage right away. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take the victory of the match, but having that extra point right at the beginning, being good at these maps, when you're good at Liang, when you're good at this control and just really knowing how to take space, it's going to benefit you so much. You're going to be having confidence, especially when it's the first to 3 and you depend so much on that first point without you having to get so nervous about the future wins.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be the case here. I always call it the caster's disclaimer, where we have to say, control kind of that outlier where it's the most deathmatchy type of game mode. If you're just able to get your kills, the objective will come naturally, as opposed to those escorts, those hybrids, those assaults that we see, where it's a little bit more strategic. It's a little bit more, you have to be decisive with some of your team fights, especially on those assault maps.
And also, control is one of the most played maps in scrims. You usually start with control. Again, when it's a tie, you usually go back to control. So there's a lot of opportunities for teams to get better at these maps to really figure out the meta that they want to run, the composition that they want to run. And well, because of that, we will be starting with Lijiang Tower. And like we mentioned, this is a very interesting map and one of the most played as well when it comes to this type of map, where we can see a lot of variety of compositions depending on the submap that we're going to. But we've seen a lot of standard actually that I really, really like to see. I love seeing that Reinhardt and Asaria being played out, but that doesn't deny the possibility of seeing some dive coming with the Winston and the Diva as well. That always puts so much value into the end.
Yeah, and Li Zhang, of course, has a few different ways you can play, right? You talk about that command center being that very brawly Ryan Zarya that you love so much, Dryad, but you also see the gardens where occasionally you'll see the high flyers, and then night market somewhere in between, a little bit more of what I would call the sim niche pick there, where oftentimes you see the teleporters just used for a little bit of quick take.
Yeah, so all those 3 maps just give a lot of variety of teams deciding what they want to play. Even when they don't want to play Symmetra on the map, they still have opportunities to play Mage, to play Reaper, and taking into account that the standard composition right now would be the Reaper and Sombra, I really expected to be one of the most popular picks throughout the match between these two teams, where they've prepared with this meta. We often see some teams that want to play something else. And also, well, we have to mention that Soldier did get a buff and is pretty good. So I also would love to see him being played.
Yeah, certainly would like to see a little bit of the old man break out the legs. Every day is a good legs day for me, but we do have a little bit of time here, Dryad. So I want to talk a little bit about these teams, Sakura versus Lunaris, because we see that most of the players on these teams are not exactly fresh faces. If you're familiar with the Kratos roster, you're certainly going to recognize a lot of Lunaris, and then similarly a lot of firepower coming through from Sakura as well. So how do you think this kind of supremacy in player ability really comes to play here?
Well, this is why I'm so excited for this match, because when you think of these two teams and when you follow the tier 3 scene and follow what these two teams have done, they're always very, very close. They always show very close results. I've heard that they like scrimming with each other a lot, and that shows that they're around the same level. Maybe one of them benefits more from the meta, and that's exactly what I want to see. I think one of my favorite things to see as well is just having that mirror match between the two teams. It really shows the difference of how they want to play, the synergy that they have going on, and taking into account that we're going to Lijiang and the compositions that we're going to be seeing at the beginning requires so much team effort and team synergy going on. This is going to be essential because, yeah, sometimes you can have a little highlight on Reaper, have a really good EMP, but it's all a matter of what your team does before and after to guarantee that you have the win of the map.
Yeah, certainly. Team cohesion sometimes, and a lot of times, if I'm being brutally honest, way more important than that individual skill that we are seeing come through. You bring up a good point about these teams kind of scrimming up against one another. So very excited to see if they've kind of already got a feel for what the other one's going to run. I think we're going to have a little bit of mind games perhaps going into this as a factor for that.
Yeah, definitely. And you really expect this match to go up to 5 maps. Again, the odds are so close. They're really good teams. They're trying to get to the top. They're trying to get to trials. So as far as they can get the number 1 spot. And they're in a really good position knowing that a lot of teams got eliminated and we're down to 16. The 2 teams being 2 of them. Just puts a lot of pressure into them, but they know that even if one of them loses here, which will happen, they still have another opportunity in the losers brackets to try to come back stronger, figure out what went wrong. So just definitely a lot of action that will be happening.
Yeah, certainly not the last opportunity for these two teams to be going up against one another. One's going to get knocked down into the losers bracket. You made that very clear, but who knows? They may meet back in the losers bracket. They may meet at the finals if it gets that far. Either way, neither of these teams looking to just roll over and let it happen. There's trial spots. There's money on the line. You're definitely looking to come out strong in this.
Especially because out of the 16 teams that we have right now, I would say these 2 are definitely in the top 8, even top 4, if we consider the performance that they've had before. Once again, both of them 3-0 their previous opponents, so they have everything to get the number 1 spot. They're in a really good position. They have some tough opponents. We know Gorilla Grip is around there, and they've shown an amazing performance before. But this is a really good start for them to get also just a better hang of what they want to play. If they're going to play the Soldier, there's still a lot of conversation going on, and if he is actually viable at this level, Overwatch or not, with the changes, he's definitely very strong. But teams decide to go with that Reaper Sombra combo that just works so well. So they still have a lot of opportunities to try to figure out what they want to do, and if they want to also kind of come with a new meta, they still just have the opportunity.
Yeah, and certainly that's going to raise quite a few questions. The Soldier change, it's, I believe, the only real change we saw as far as those patch notes that came by most recently. I believe it was on Tuesday that we did see them go live. So not a whole lot shaking across the board, but you got to think, if Soldier's a little bit more viable, how does that change things up for the supports, for the tanks? What complementary DPS are you running with him? Are these teams even going to try to explore that avenue, given that it's still a fairly fresh change?
Yeah, and I really, really love seeing that Blizzard is making these changes so fast because it forces players to figure out what they want to do. It shows a lot of adaptability at Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1 Overwatch. You need to make sure that the changes, you are trying to adapt as soon as you can. And the longer you take, the more it's going to affect your team. And yeah, you can wait a little bit to figure out what other teams are doing. But that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's just a matter of who adapts first, who gets the win. And now we are actually starting in EM. We're going to be starting the action here.
Now we're already going to be diving in fast and underway. We see Cheddar get taken down rather early on by a nice boost coming in from Boomerang. Sparks come out because of that. Now Sakura looking perhaps to just regroup. They are going to get through Mars. Like a little bit of that first point presence, but Sakura not quite done with this just yet. They continue to lean in. We're seeing some wins. Like the face tank can try to come through. We have seen the bubbles come in as well, but a big hack. These that Winston extremely vulnerable. Now both Winstons apparently very vulnerable as they both drop this fight. Continuing on, one's going to be knocked. That res a huge Chopper Pizza. Now that there's a main tank back on the field for Sakura. As we try to get them the reinforcement that they need, Lunaris now getting slowly pushed up. They're going to try to use the core left to keep themselves locked and on the line, but they can only do so much, especially as the Diva Bomb hurls their way, takes after Lucio. Now Sakura starts off on a strong foot.
Just like that, they take control of the point and they do it so fast. I absolutely love seeing the difference between the two support lineups where we have this Miata putting a lot of damage through and also enabling the team a little bit more. And in addition to that, we also have this Mercy who's going to help the DPS, try to stay alive, try to have that rest. Like, this stuff happen. So this is really, really good. But if Madero gets the kill, I think in the next fight, this enables him to
Lunaris going to be initiating with that sound here. They're going to drop it deep. But they lose the EMP, they lose the Sombra of their own team, not really able to get too much off of that EMP. Now Lunaris once again hurting for that manpower, looking to just poke and prod by any openings as they can. But so far it seems like Sakura is going to be unable to be taken down, as now they push away Lunaris and continue to hold this point, picking up.
Drake is definitely having a hard time on this Miata getting taken right away. You know that the enemy team is going to dive right into him and try to kill him. That's exactly what's happening. He still has these Transcendence though, so that's a big opportunity for them to use here, even though there aren't many opportunities for Lunaris to come in. And we always mention one of the main things about this map, it is that it's so hard to recontest and touch the point getting any value, especially with the ultimate abilities that we see from Sakura Esports. They're going to be having their primary rate. They're also going to be having that duplicate that's going to be a very good initiation.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the Transcendence come out. Drake trying to keep everybody up and on a line. As we see now, Sakura still having quite a few ultimates in their pockets. Echo takes quite a bit of damage, but eventually goes into duplicate form onto the Tracer, looking to find a pulse mine to fill up that Tracer ult so quickly. Doesn't find too much with it. Now it's just Cheddar on this Primal Rage trying to hold out for as long as possible, but Lunaris now starting to hemorrhage the players from Sakura. Sakura in a rough spot that he can start claiming some kills back, or at least getting those respawns back. Gecko trying to buy out just a little bit of time, not able to, however, as now the point's gonna flip, but they have to have a perfect hold here.
Yeah, and the longer that this fight goes, the more it was going to benefit Sakura Esports. Now, they have the 99%, they only need one more fight. Yeah, they did use a lot of ultimate abilities, but so did Lunaris, and that doesn't really put them in a really good spot coming into the defense. At least if they had the coalitions coming through, they could initiate and push everyone back, but now everything has been used, and this would be one less fight players who they don't know how to defend it.
Already we see Sakura playing on that point, really putting on the pressure, but Dino not quite able to deliver while the rest of their team gets picked apart. Lunaris just pushing up, and apparently it's a brawl going on, as everybody seems to be dying from melees going into this fight. Lunaris had managed to hold, and now trying to build up some momentum.
They're feeling really, really aggressive here, and I absolutely love to see this. They know they didn't have the ultimate advantage into that fight, but they knew how to play around it, and it works perfectly. That Dead Blossom from Cave will be ready in just a few seconds, and also just you're going to see a lot of heals coming through.
The sound barrier from Lunaris is going to be starting off this fight to be answered by a Valkyrie coming in from Nox to keep their team alive as well. Madero deciding that they need a little bit more healing, dropping that Coalescence in on a dime. However, the skill's already coming through Sakura. They do lose their Wrecking Ball, but the Death Ball goes out. It gets taken down. Sakura able to get the kills coming through their Lunaris. Now managed to almost lose at this point. They have one member left. The Wrecking Ball tags in for a little bit of relief pressure, but will it be enough? The lines are online for Forkin, but can they deliver? Transcendence coming in from the Zenyatta is going to be able to mitigate a lot of those mines as Forkin drops them, but Zenyatta backing up just a bit too much, and Lunaris still not out of this fight just yet. It was looking so grim for them, but they hold onto it by the skin of their teeth, and now it's looking like a last fight territory for both sides.
They don't want to let the point go. Working actually gets two at the end. It's like it be going to their side. The kills keep coming through. That post bomb connects to Nox, and 97% is anyone going to be able to touch?
It will in fact be that last moment touch. Chopper takes down Shin on that tomb, just looking to continue that streak with Tracer. Now it's Sakura that's getting taken down on the Wrecking Ball. Cheddar out of this fight as well. Lunaris able to hold, and this would be a great moment for them if they were able to reverse it from 100, from 99 to 100 on their end. Coalescence does come out from Madero, just to clear out a little bit of mines as well as keep everybody healed up, deal the damage, and that is going to help them secure this point, 99 to 100.
Amazing cleanup, especially by Chopper. He gets 5 of the enemy team right at the end on the Tracer. An absolutely amazing performance. I love seeing Tracer being able to do this. He was having a slow start, but after he got that close bomb on the Mercy, he was just unstoppable from beginning to end. And that just gives a little bit of advantage for Lunaris. But now, just coming into the next map, I'm very curious to see we see the compositions changing a little bit. We know that the brawl that we were talking about is very common on this map, but that doesn't necessarily mean that teams are going to be playing this. What needs to happen now from Sakura to try to win here is definitely more aggression coming from them. They did have it at the beginning, but they didn't really know how to rate contest that area after they got to 50%. So very tough spot, but they definitely can make the comeback here.
We'll see if they'll learn from their mistakes, and we're seeing Dino now on that Soldier. See if they can perform it there to a tolerable level, and already see the Soldier Cage trying to get ready for the hacks, ready for any dive that might come in from Cheddar. Lunaris off on the cliff side here, a very uncomfortable spot for them to be in, knowing that the number of boost characters is pretty high from Sakura, but an early hack on the Cheddar prevents that wrecking ball from getting close and displacing as much as they might like to see. Lunaris now just being a little bit of a bully, being a gatekeeper as well, making sure that nobody can get into touch point. Trying to give them an early initial point cap, but Kate gets taken down by Rogue. Rogue diving in as that seizing their moment and capitalizing upon it. We're trying to lead in here. They do know they have a momentary man advantage. Trying to get some sort of damage with that Soldier attacking, but we're gonna have to mitigate around that Reinhardt shield and be very difficult, especially with Madero trying to burn everybody down with the Coalescence coming online. Not able to save Reinhardt, however, and now we're seeing the Nano Visor come through. It's gonna be Dino trying to take down their last few remaining members. Will succeed at the cost of the 2 ultimates going in, but a bit of push progress goes in from Dark, but the Reaper drops in from on high. Chopper able to take him down. Dino, as we see now, this is continued point progress for Lunaris. It's not going to be forever, as the flip will eventually go to Sakura, but still almost 50%.
They were looking really, really good in that fight, and I absolutely love seeing Chopper jumping into the point, throwing down that Blossom, just doing anything to stay in point, to get more percentage. 44 is not good, but it's also not bad either, so they feel pretty comfortable knowing that they have the advantage just for a little bit. That EMP, though, we're going to be seeing happening.
The EMP goes out Rogue, the first one to be taken down because of it. Can't use those boosters, can't use the bases to get away. Chopper just waiting in the corner, waiting for that Echo to peek him. Does, and eventually gets that Echo dangerously low. Does have the healing there, though, but not this time around. Shin gets taken down and out of this fight. Then the Diva Bomb comes in, crowns off that cake with a double kill as well. It's now looking very good for Lunaris, who are on a little bit of a chase here, as this is a very uncomfortable spot for the Soldier.
Specs also getting 3 at the end, just enabling the team to put more damage. Now they feel really comfortable with 65% of the timing for them. They know exactly what to do. A few ults that were used, their bird was just more than enough. Now they have the Coalescence to engage. And for Sakura Esports, it's not looking too good. They still have the opportunity. They have that 9 kill they want to throw it here and just force everyone back.
Have the opportunity, but Madero's not going to let them get away. That Coalescence coming in, giving their team the reinforcement. And now with this, Lunaris once again pushing ahead. He just wins that fight basically off the Coalescence.
I absolutely love seeing the Coalescence happening, but they haven't enough just getting married because they can social that's out there that's also being thrown into point. They are doing everything to get the point right now.
And a very late sound barrier coming in from Gunther. But the hack onto Shin means that the Diva duplicate can't get onto point, and because of that, Lunaris making sure that Sakura can't get the touch, winning it here a lot more dominantly than on Guardians.
This is such a risky play that we saw from them at the end. They played really aggressive knowing it was up to 90% and they could just win playing more defensive. But they play aggressive, they get the picks right at the beginning, and they just know how to take control of the situation. I love seeing this for Lunaris, and every single one of the players that we saw right now had a moment where they popped off. Like you mentioned, Madero using that Coalescence, and that just being enough to push everyone back and to win this fight is not something that we see quite often. But when it does, just shows the dominance, the confidence that the team has. And like we were talking about before the match started, it's just a matter of the synergy that they have in the composition.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly have to agree. Lunaris definitely going to be taking away the win there. Don't pay attention to the scores at the top of the board. But as we look now ahead, Dryad, Lunaris struggled a little bit on Gardens, but once they got that momentum, they swung back hard. How does Sakura prevent that from happening again?
That was a really tough spot, and it really is a matter of the compositions that they were playing, where Lunaris was able to brawl into the composition or get right into point. Yeah, we didn't see this meta that is so common in this map, but they knew how to take control over and over again. They were playing more aggressive, and in the side of Sakura, they were playing a little more defensive, even when they were trying to take control of the point. So I want to see them really using the composition. If you're going to be playing a dive, it really needs to be happening. You really need to be getting the picks from the supports, at least right at the beginning, to enable the rest of the team to get a few picks as well. So it's a tough spot, but I really think it's a matter of composition difference. I don't think it's anything else. It simply didn't work in this specific case against Lunaris.
And as we look ahead, hopefully for Sakura to change that momentum around, we do get word that the next map is going to be Dorado. Lunaris will choose to defend, which seems to be the favored option for anybody who gets to pick on these types of maps here, Dryad.
Starting with defense always helps teams have a little bit more confidence. If you're able to full hold them, you're going to go into the next round fully confident that you're going to be able to win. It's actually very rare for this not to happen. And I really want to see this, especially in Dorado. It's very challenging right at the beginning of the point to try to hold it. And then the second point, it's only in the third point where we see a lot of composition changes. But overall, I think it's a big opportunity for the defense to try to hold. It definitely won't be easy knowing that the level that these teams are at. But if Lunaris has this momentum going, they can definitely do it.
It certainly can. And once again, as is standard, at least for myself, I always put that asterisk. This was just a control map, right? We didn't see as much objective play. That's going to be a little bit less prevalent here in Dorado, where you actually have to start to focus on map composition, where you can hold defensively, where you can get aggressive offensively. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that change up, as you can see our next map being that Dorado pick.
And going into Dorado, we can definitely expect to see a lot of that Sombra being played. I want to see the mirror match from these two teams. That EMP, such a strong ability. You can't ignore it. If you're able to combo like we've seen other teams do, where they combo the EMP and the Death Blossom, you're going to be absolutely unstoppable every single fight, because the Sombra should be able to get the EMP pretty quickly, as well as Reaper getting that Death Blossom. And getting it every other fight should be more than enough for them to, either when you're attacking or defending, to try to take the victory. I really, really want to see this for Sakura. We know that they were forcing the dive composition a little bit more, but I don't think I'm not really sure if it's going to benefit them coming here. It could definitely happen, especially on the attack, but when the other team is playing that standard composition that we know is so good right now, it's something at least to consider.
Yeah, and Dorado, as we look ahead, we are about to get into the map here in just a second, actually, right now, as I say it. But as we look, Dorado, not the worst dive map, right? That second point, fairly dive friendly, considering you can do so much with that high ground right above that courthouse area, looking along most of the streets area that we're actually conveniently rolling through right now.
To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of holding that high ground at the beginning, because it's only a matter of time till the attackers just push through there, and you're going to have to load to the low ground. So it's not my favorite. I usually prefer when teams play a little bit more aggressive, play a little closer. I think it brings more excitement. But for this composition, they're definitely going to be going on the high ground. For the defense, once again, we're going to be working on the Reckonable Specs. Is going to be in the Diva. He had an amazing performance before, and now it's going to be a lot of trying to get a few picks right at the beginning, just delaying that push to happen.
Now we are seeing Chopper on that Soldier 76 as opposed to Dino this time around. Esports are gonna slowly be making their way up with the cart. Everybody just nestling right there next to the objective. Get some progress, get some slow healing and stuff. Perhaps look for any openings coming through, and Lunaris immediately getting hit jumped upon by the Winston, by the Diva, by the Echo. Now feeling a little bit of the pressure, but they don't take too many losses. However, it's just a matter of time in literal fashion for Sakura, as they just need that valuable resource to get that cart moving. We're now seeing it slowly edge towards that underpass as Jetter continues to hold this high, and Orchid in an unforgiving spot takes a load of damage, but able to walk it off that wrecking ball, able to extract so fast. However, Specs only slightly less able to get away. In fact, they'll be trading their life for it in fashion and trying to hold with this Echo. So far, not a lot of trades. We've already seen one death, and Lunaris now going to be suffering a little bit, especially as Orchid falls. Not a lot of tank presence here now, Triad.
Yeah, and a few picks that come from the side of Sakura Esports. Now they're able to play a little bit more aggressive, but the fight is now over. They're going to be trying to recontest here. They don't want to get up just yet. Chopper does have a tactical visor to be used at any point. Try to get a few picks before. Oh, but he gets taken down before.
But not going to be able to use the tactical visor if you're dead. But now, as we see Sakura trying to push ahead, this looks like the last stand for point 1 for Lunaris. We see Shin go in for the duplicate onto the Tracer. Going to once again be able to build those pulse mines oh so quickly, but it is the Transcendence coming in from Madero, keeping everybody alive. Madero barely able to jump out of the way of that pulse mine. Now Lunaris trying to clutch it back once again. And Cheddar taking quite a bit of damage, and Gunther now trying to be the savior for this team in the literal sense, trying to get that Valkyrie to get everybody back online. In fact, literally raising Chopper from the dead, keeping them in this fight for even longer. Lunaris managing to hold, they haven't given up first yet.
Gunther, with a really good performance, like you mentioned, is able to come through with the rest, help the team stay alive for a little bit longer. And I really like seeing this. It seems like Sakura was taking the advantage, but they don't want it. They didn't want to give it up just yet. Now they take control, and this is not a really good spot for the attacker. This is going to be really challenging. The Primal Rage will be using just a few seconds.
We do see that Primal Rage potentially online from Cheddar, as now Morgan gets hacked out, caught in the underneath. But Cave equalizing a little bit with the kill on to the Ana, however, easily rezzed by Not. You see Shin being bullied just a little bit. Cave dashing into them with the melee, sealing that deal. Now Sakura looking to push up, but they don't have the silver to create any of those openings. Trying to play around this card, focusing their efforts onto the Wrecking Ball, who is causing such a disruption and in fact dropping a minefield, making it to where you have to watch your step if you're on the side of Sakura, and we're just going to watch their steps all the way back to spawn as they slowly back out.
Here's where we start seeing the difference between the two teams, where Lunaris is playing aggressive every single time, even when they're defending here. And for Sakura Esports, they are playing a little bit more passive, and it's just causing them to die over and over again.
And Morgan once again hacked out, taken it down. Needs to be more aware of Shin on that Sombra. As we look at Nino with that pulse bomb. We're going to be looking for Madero. Madero, however, popping the Transcendence, ensuring that they don't get one clipped by that Tracer. A wise choice, but still costly considering Nino has that pulse bomb in hand. It's now just going to be on the majority of the rest of Lunaris to try to hold here, try to make something happen. Specs eating the pulse bomb coming out from Dino, and we see Chopper activating that attack visor, trying to mow down anybody within line of sight, but not a lot of people taken out here. Morgan put to sleep in the most literal fashion, buried underneath a grave by a sleep dart. The hack onto Cave as well prevents them from touching the cart in time. Sakura Esports finally able to get that first point. Better late than nothing.
They finally take control, like you mentioned, in 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining for them to get to the second. This one is going to be a little bit more challenging for them. That EMP will be available though, so if they want to engage with it, this is a perfect opportunity to use, especially in the corner. They have to take a lot of space here. And in the meantime, for Lunaris, they did use everything they thought they could use it. And for Chopper, and prior when we had gone through on the Mercy, they were investing their ultimate abilities thinking that they could hold it, but it was just not enough. So now a lot of that's going to be happening first.
Gotta think Guns are going to be switching to that Brig to deal with the Tracer, with the Stormer. The EMP goes out, but only really lands onto Specs. Not a huge value play there coming in from the Shin, but Sakura still managing to pull forth a few kills. It's going to push Lunaris back to the secondary high ground here, as now Chopper just trying to get some value on that Soldier from on high.
That Soldier definitely getting some value. It's been certain times where he doesn't really get as many picks as he would want to, but now he's trying to take control, and taking the high ground is the first step to do so. That EMP that was used before, they don't have to worry about it now. And Lunaris is in a great spot here. That Pulse Bomb could get a few of the support, and that should be more than enough for them to throw home here.
Morgan recognizing the threat, tries to dive right onto Shin so the hacks can't come through. However, as we look ahead, Cheddar going to be dropping the minefield, zoning out the defense from their own second point. Chopper getting the nano visor, once again takes down Nox. No res available for the side of Sakura. And now the more value takes down Rogue as well. We're seeing Cheddar get down, trying to get away, just cannot. Chopper, however, not able to close the kill on the Shin. That translocator is there. Trying to focus down that Ana down the range too. Can't quite get it. Tries to seal the deal with a kiss of the rockets, but to no avail. Just going to be the chase away for the rest of Sakura.
Chopper is definitely enjoying the changes that Soldier got. He's taking advantage of them, really getting those picks when they happen. And if he doesn't get the final blow, at least he gets a lot of damage, forcing everyone to go back. They don't have much time left though, 30 seconds remaining for the team to try to get to the second point, and it's going to be really challenging if they keep getting picked right at the beginning.
We'll certainly see if they can manage to make it happen. This is looking very close to last battle territory, but the EMP gets taken off the field. Chopper immediately guns down Shin, making sure that Sombra not going to be able to turn off the abilities for everybody. And then with Dino falling as well, that means the DTS teeth have effectively been pulled from the side of Sakura. When you think something happen, the minefield is going to try to be that something. The question is, will it be the Diva Bomb? I mean, Specs netting a big old 0, but doesn't clear the field. Now, rather, this time it's going to be the Diva Bomb from Specs. Takes down Shin once again. Really good timing considering that EMP just came out, and now another Nano Visor. Chopper just standing still, knowing they don't have to click anymore. Everybody's dead, and this is where it stops for Sakura.
They were doing really good throughout the first part of the second point, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough. And that last fight could have been won if that EMP was used early. I believe that we saw the Sombra get taken down earlier, so that didn't really enable this hero to get there in time. That forced a minefield and also the self-destruct to be used early. That just gives the tanks a big disadvantage. The self-destruct didn't really go into point and everyone was able to run away from it. That was pretty much the only opportunity for them to get a few picks, and it put them in a really tough spot. If that EMP was used first, that would have forced that there wasn't as much mobility from the defense, and then you could use the minefield and the self-destruct. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen, and now they're going to have to do anything that's in their hands to try to hold it. Ideally into first point so they don't have to worry about second. It's definitely not going to be easy though, and once again, I just think it's a matter of compositions of the teams playing. They haven't really figured out what works best for Sakura Esports to try to get to third. And yeah, we understand that Dorado is a really tough map, but playing a little bit more aggressive could be the key, not only here, but in other maps. It's a lot of challenges that they have to face here, especially when you know that Lunaris is going to do everything that's in their hands to get a few picks. And if they go with Madero on Tanyata, he's going to be unstoppable. You're going to need to counter him right at the beginning.
Yeah, everything within the hands of Sakura, and it just so happens what's in the hands of Sakura is two snipers, Ashe and Widowmaker. We're going to be trying to find those long-range damage opportunities. Madero, as I mentioned, a little bit weak. If you can't deal with him, we'll have a little bit of free reign once that wisdom bubble is broken. However, again, it's just Lunaris taking this card right around to the first corner. The Dynamite does go out from Shin, lands only on Specs, so not a huge opening, but the opening onto Madero is significant. The sniper's already paying off in spades for Sakura. Are seeing them to get kills one apiece so far as Dino continues to try to push these angles, fish for anything they can, but now it's just tanks.
I do like seeing the sniper. This is a very risky play from them, knowing that they can get dove and taken down immediately, but it's getting them results, and if they want to keep their performance going, oh, they're going to do so good. Trevor actually gets taken down there.
As we see, the res will be there. Gunther ensuring that Chopper is able to come back, and Specs actually taking a bullet there for Chopper. Diva bodying that shot, making sure that the Ashe is able to walk away, and Sakura now have to start to slowly back off as the Widowmaker and their Ashe not as efficient here, especially when the Ashe is dead. Does get revived, but puts Nox in a little bit of a vulnerable position. A big anti-nade coming in from Drake ensures that now Lunaris not going to get as much healing. Or taking a brief nap before getting woken up by a little bit of poke coming in from Sakura. As we see, Lunaris continuing to push in, and they're going to push in with a Valkyrie now. Gunther ensuring that the team has that momentum to lean into this fight. Will be answered by a Valkyrie coming in from Nox, but probably not the res onto Shin, as now we're looking ahead. Sakura looking a little bit cornered back here. We see Cheddar, we see the side of Rogue trying to hold it back, and now it's going to be Morgan dropping the minefield to ensure that it's even more painful for them to move back, and the Diva Bomb coming in ensures that they have to get out. It's Shin, however, who's not able to make it their way out. Like Bob is able to dive onto point for just a moment, takes the Discord orb though, trying to throw down some damage, can't quite find it. Cheddar getting a Nano Boost, has to hold back, and Nano Boost can't do much if you have a Zenyatta mitigating all that damage with the Transcendence. Madero playing it excellently there. Specs shoring up those kills, making it 3 that they close with that.
a really, really long fight because we know the Sakura Esports, they didn't want to give up the point just yet, but Lunaris just takes control of the situation. And it all happens just because of Chopper and also Specs getting those final blows every single time. Now you see both of them in the high ground, they are hungry for more. They're doing anything that's in their hands to try to get a few picks. And now this puts the snipers of Sakura in a really, really tough position where they know that if they pick any corner, they could also get taken down, not only by Specs, but also Chopper has had an amazing performance that Bob is going to be already into point, and the payload keeps moving, so that means they still have 3 minutes 40 seconds to try to win here.
Chopper is going to throw Bob onto that high ground, ensuring the dive can't come in as cleanly. It's K trying to clean up that Ashe, but the healing and the support there from the tank line just too much, not quite able to deal the damage that is necessary. Chopper tries to hop onto the high ground, but Cheddar has other plans for them as now we look ahead. It's going to be Ro trying to jump down with her tank counterpart, getting the value, finds the Specs, and that's all they're going to need. But Cheddar looking to continue to press this advantage, pops the Primal, looking to perhaps jostle around the side of Lunaris, trying to find anything they can, and oh no, they found Madero. Madero managing to get away as that Primal just ends for Cheddar, who's now kind of caught outside of their team.
How did Madero stay alive right there? It seems like he was going to get taken down immediately, but unfortunately for Cheddar, he didn't really get much value as he wanted from the Primal Rage, besides pushing everyone back. And, well, when you consider everything, this is an ideal situation, but also puts him in a tough spot. The payload is going to be moving just a little bit, and a few picks are going to be needed here.
And a pick is exactly what Cave is going to find with the kill onto Zenyatta, and Madero making sure that Zenyatta's can frag out in this game. Gunther trying to heal up Borkin, who is the only member really on point, trying to deal damage to the Mercy. Gunther, however, is going to be the one who puts the final nail in that coffin. Gets taken down by the coach gun from the Ashe Shin there, shoring up the kills, but Lunaris too quick on the cleanup. They're going to get some more cart progress in 2 minutes to get it only a few more meters, Dryad.
They keep moving the payload, and 1 second Bob is going to be available for Chopper to be used at any point. This would be ideal for the last fight territory that we're getting close to, as well as that post moment. If we can see Cave just trying to get it into one of the supports, or almost got it. It would have been ideal for them, but now they still have 3 opportunities. It's not a lot.
Cape's still doing a great job at gatekeeping that small entryway. Bob, the only one with that Wrecking Ball who are able to contest that point. We see now Chopper holding off in the back, waiting for the Neva Bomb to dissuade before Bob rushes right onto point. Now Bob solo gonna be pushing that cart. Somebody needs to touch it, otherwise it might be a Bob 9 we're seeing here as that cart makes it. Not the Bob 9, but in fact the full force from Lunaris, who ends up taking Dorado.
Just like that, Lunaris takes control once again, and they're looking so good. They definitely know what to do every single time. And the DPS lineup from them just looks amazing. Every single play that we've seen from them, they know exactly what to do. They don't give up. Even one of the other players died right before them. They want to use their ultimate abilities, and we saw it at the beginning when we saw getting power and that the also being thrown into point when there was no one else. And now we saw with Soldier just being used. We saw it also with Ashe. So many opportunities for them. They really have an understanding of the meta, and that's what's benefiting them so much.
Yeah, Lunaris, again, they started off rickety on Gardens, but since then, they've really kind of come into form, come into fashion, and I'm liking the performance we're seeing put out by them. I think Sakura definitely having a tough time. It just doesn't seem like as much the cohesion is there for Sakura Esports as it needs to be, especially against a team of the caliber that we've seen Lunaris perform at so far.
Yeah, definitely. And we actually just want to highlight some of the plays that we've seen before. These plays have been absolutely amazing every single time. And it's just so important to see what they're doing and how other teams can benefit from this.
Now, we will be seeing those highlights here in just a moment, Dryad. But this is a good opportunity, right? The teams now have a moment to breathe here, right? Lunaris, they want to keep that momentum going. They want to keep the swing strong. But Sakura, they might need a minute just to recompose themselves, regather. As now we do see the highlights coming underway. We see Chopper on that Tracer just absolutely mauling with the amount of damage that fast British lady is able to put out.
Chopper knows exactly what to do every single time. I love seeing this DPS looking so strong. And it's been a highlight of DPS from both sides for both teams. Of Sakura Esports has some important highlights to mention. But overall, I think Chopper, anything that we've seen him play, he's been absolutely amazing. He knows exactly what to do, what picks to get. That post bomb was what got them that win at the end.
Yeah, very excellent performance coming through here. And the man, the soldier of the hour that we've been talking about a lot, Chopper on that nano visor, ready to just tear up. Doesn't even need it to close that kill on to Cheddar. Will do it just the good old-fashioned way. But it wouldn't be nothing if we didn't highlight some Sakura plays as well. Big EMP coming out from Shin. That Sombra able to disable a lot of those players.
Yeah, Shin is a really good player as well mechanically, so I really like seeing these highlights coming through. Sombra is not the easiest character to play. You really need to make sure that you have your positioning very well understood. If not, it's going to be tough for your team to get any value out of your EMPs and out of your hacks. But they did a really good job. I think once again it's just a matter of them really getting a hang of how close they want to play, how brawly they want to play. But Chopper is just #1 right now.
Yeah, we will be giving Sakura the opportunity to recompose themselves and get that discussion going with them. We are going to be taking a short little break, folks, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few moments with the continuation of Trials of the Champions, Sakura versus Lunaris.
This is the Overwatch League Grand Finals, bro. We're down 0-2 we're against Shock, bro. We're Soul Dynasty. Yeah, we gotta bring it back.
They lose. They lose.
Yeah, but we got. Dude, you didn't finish, man. We have to change the outcome of the last map. Yo, can someone give me a 20-second speech, bro? Inspiration.
Hey, you're super good, super duper whooper. You've got this.
Ah, that didn't help, bro. GG's.
You good?
I just talked to the enemy team.
What'd you tell them?
They said if I go Junkrat, J3 goes Genji.
Oh shit, then we win. Alright, let's do it. We need to win this for the content.
Oh my god, the complete underdog comeback victory out of nowhere.
We're ready, right, boys?
Oh yeah.
No.
I'm ready. Shrine.
Dude, I haven't played scrims in a long time. I went to lock Ash as a
Listen,
joke.
last time I scrimmed, I had hair, so what are we doing?
Dude, it's past my bedtime.
Is it actually?
It's almost, isn't it almost 11? It's almost 11. That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it's 11. Almost 11, yeah.
What? How? Where do you live?
He's like, I don't know. He's like some
Oh wait, you're Canada, right?
Canada island.
Yeah.
Okay, if it was West servers, sometimes I remember this one time I had 12 ping.
Yeah, I was playing at a hotel in LA and I had 11 ping. I'm like, what?
Ready?
Yeah.
I'm not talking to your girlfriend. It's game time.
This is the peak of our careers.
Game time.
What are you talking about?
Where they're coming from, Kyle? Where they're coming from? Okay.
They're right side.
They're all right side. I'm gonna go for a boop. They're simps, bro. We gotta get our simps. Our team simps.
Yo, when are the team provided sims happening?
You got him.
Yeah, you got it.
Wait, nice! Nice! Ball touching, ball touching!
More. No fade.
No, he's not.
Oh, baby. Dude, look at all the confetti, yo. Yo, this candy.
Yummy.
Right now with Hydra building up to this Bear Barrage so quickly.
Oh!
It asking!
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact se escucha debajo gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go, figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting till it's for sure lost.
Winnable!
Overwatch ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Tired of the competitive grind and random teammates? Want to put your team to the test against opponents of similar SR?
Go.
Ever been told to get good, but felt like you were never given the chance? Introducing our Get Good tournament, open to PC and console teams in NA and EU region. Our goal is to provide you with an environment that will push your team play and individual skills to new heights and an opportunity to make new friends along the way. Our divisions range from beginner to unlimited, and the tournament will start off with a 5 to 6 week group stage in Swiss format, ending in a 2-week long playoff bracket. You can even be showcased live as we stream matches with talented casters every week on Twitch. The winner for each division is crowned champion and will get a fancy champion's role. Get Good signups will start on October 5th, with the tournament starting on the 23rd for PC and the 24th for console. And if you don't have a team yet, but would like to experience playing in a team, fear not. Solo player signups is a team building service offered by Elohel Esports in preparation for our Get Good tournament. Sign up on your own and you will be put into a team of 6. Solo player signups are open right now. Go to elohel.gg/getgood for more information and to sign up for the real 6v6 experience.
Everybody, Big Hungry Phil here with a note of thanks to Opinion Outpost for sponsoring the Trial of Champions. Want to make some extra cash? Well, earn money through Opinion Outpost by just sharing your opinion. All you've got to do is fill out some surveys. You can make money while watching streams, queuing for a game, or even waiting for your teammates to group up for one final overtime push on the point. Use Opinion Outpost to get that skin you've always wanted. There's nothing better than treating yourself to some well-deserved loot boxes after a long competitive grind. Visit the link to start making money today.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to our first match of the day here at the Trial of Champions. We are in the round of 16 between Lunaris and Sakura Esports. Lunaris leading by 2 over Sakura. Once again, for your casting entertainment, it's me, Sir Waltham, joined by the fantastic, as always, Dryad. Dryad, so far it's looking pretty dominant in Lunaris' favor. What can Sakura do?
Yeah, it's really hard for Sakura Esports right now. It seems like they don't really have the understanding that they should have coming into this match and to really figure out what to play against Lunaris. So it's going to be tough, but it is possible. So the best opportunity for them is definitely going to be maybe playing the mirror match if they know they could have an advantage to this, and playing characters more like Sombra, trying to get more value out of those EMPs, trying to get more value out of Death Blossoms. And this is a big opportunity for them, just using those CC abilities as well. That's going to enable them so much. You try to get a few picks. If you're not able to do this, it's going to be really challenging, taking into account that we are on match point and Lunaris has just looked so good from beginning to end.
Yeah, and now's the part where if you're on the side of Sakura, you have to have those nerves of steel. You have to be very confident. We did see earlier on Lijiang Tower. Then we saw Dorado, both, of course, going in Lunaris' favor. But it's sounding like Eichenwald gonna be our next map here. And do you think that plays into any team's favor so far from what we've seen?
It's definitely going to play more into Lunaris' favor, knowing the compositions that they decide to run throughout. I really want to see that Brawl composition, that Rush composition coming through again. I think it's going to benefit them so much. And for Sakura Esports, I want to say this also. They are forcing a little bit more to dive, which is not necessarily bad, but they're not really getting value out of it. So if we can see a mirror matchup where we can see maybe the Moira and the Lucio on the support lineup, trying to keep everyone alive, that should be more than enough for us to go into even a third round of this map.
Well, we can hope so, as we know. It's going to be Eichenwald, kind of a mixed match here. I like the high ground concept that you have during that streets phase. I like how you have the very high skyboxes in the first point. So quite a few different mix-ups we can see here in a total Dryad. And so far, I don't want to speak too confidently on this, but it doesn't seem like we've had these teams lock in a dedicated roster so far.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something that's really interesting because it enables players and teams to play whatever they feel more comfortable in. But at the same time, you definitely want to have some sort of comfort composition or players or whatever it is that you know is going to work every single time. For Lunaris, they swapped the composition a few times, but it worked so well. When we started in Lijiang Tower, the match seemed a little bit closer. Sakura had some very good opportunities to take the advantage, and unfortunately it didn't happen, but it was really close. When we went to Dorado, it was just complete dominance from Lunaris, except at the beginning on the first point. And now I'm just really excited to see Sakura trying to make that comeback now.
That's certainly going to be the case. However, if we're talking about obstacles that Sakura is going to have to overcome to get the victory here, you got to kind of talk about Chopper. We saw them putting forth a pretty good performance from the side of Lunaris so far. We saw them on the Soldier. We saw them on the Tracer. And I mean, that's a player that I definitely am very thumbs up on so far, just because of the 2 maps we've seen thus yet.
Yeah, he is absolutely amazing, and I really like seeing him play so many different heroes. We saw him on Soldier, we saw him in Tracer, and he was popping off every single time. But for the side of Sakura Esports, they do also have a really good DPS lineup. I do like seeing Shin getting that big EMP. It's just a matter of getting value out of these abilities. And the plays that we saw, many of the plays that we saw from Chopper wouldn't have been possible if he didn't have the support of the Mercy of the Ana given to him, Nano, and all these things that doesn't seem quite big, but when you see the full picture of what's going on screen, they really make a big part. Even when he doesn't get any final blows using his ultimate ability, he forces the team back. They are afraid of getting killed, and that is enough. If you're attacking, if you're defending, whatever it is, he is being so dominant that he's forcing Sakura Esports all the way back.
Yeah, the threat alone can sometimes be just as powerful of a factor as a kill can, which I think we saw Sakura try to capitalize upon. We saw them at the very beginning of Dorado trying to run a double sniper, really trying to lock down some lines of sight. They just weren't quite able to make it happen. It feels like they are more comfortable with that passive play style. You kind of touched on that towards the end of a Lijiang Tower, where they need to be more aggressive, and those kind of play styles, I think, feed into Lunaris' hands of super aggression.
And this is just the highest level of Overwatch, where all the best teams are always going to be more aggressive than their enemy that is actually losing. We see it in Overwatch, like San Francisco Shock is so aggressive every single time. That's why they win. They are always one step ahead, and that's exactly what Lunaris is doing today. They are one step ahead every single time, not only in ultimate abilities, but in positioning, in knowing what to play, what ultimates you combine to get value out of. And this is where it's going to be so challenging for Sakura Esports. They need to also be more aggressive. They need to know when to engage, how to engage, and it is possible because they have an amazing roster, but it just all depends on that synergy that we keep mentioning.
Certainly have to agree, and now we will be tuning in. Sakura going to be starting off on the attack here moving forward. And now that, of course, means that Lunaris are going to be on the defense. And Chopper, I think we gave them quite a bit of praise for it. Going to be hopping back onto the Soldier. They just want us to hear. They just want to hear us sing their praises a little bit more, Dryad.
Yeah, and it's just a Soldier is so good right now. I love seeing Chopper playing this hero. I think it's so fun for anyone to really have some fun with the Soldier changes. I'm surprised Sakura is not really pulling this off. We haven't seen it much, but it is possible if one of the players were comfortable. I think it would be Dino. So you try to get some value out of this hero. That's definitely an opportunity, but starting with Tracer, that's not too bad. She's trying to melt the tanks right away.
And already we can see not a lot of similarities between the two teams, mostly in the Tracer and in the Diva. Dino, once again, trying to peck out, trying to catch somebody, but again, they're ready. They're going to be spotted out. You're not going to be pushing too aggressively into that brig, and already Cheddar taken down. This is a good spot for Lunaris, but they have to be careful. That points of progress already going in favor of Sakura. They don't manage to get that first tick, that crucial first tick that ensures you're definitely not going to lose right out of the gate. Lunaris so far claiming the kills that they've captured and pushing ahead. Sakura trying to lead in with Cheddar once again, but Cheddar taking quite a bit of damage. Might have to back out just to mitigate any chance of early loss. But Rogue is going to be the one who actually drops a little bit earlier. At least it looked like they were clinging on to bare life there. Jorkin does receive the nano boost, trying to build up that primal boost a little bit faster, but not quite able to do a whole lot with it as eventually just backs off. It's back with a wonderful eat coming in from Dino, or onto Dino rather, not able to get any value for that full line. Shin trying to poke at the Winston bubble, but gets caught in a small room with the giant monkey. Not a very comfortable spot to be in, but Morgan eventually falling to the better of them. The sound barrier having to come out from Drake just keeps them and Rogue alive. Chopper throwing in that tag visor. Lunaris really fighting tooth and nail for this. They do give up some progress, but eventually they're going to be able to maintain just a little bit here. Shin taken down by the Diva Bomb on exit. And this is going to one very long battle for the last 2 minutes, Dryad.
Really long fight that's going on right now, and it's just because Cheddar keeps coming back. He gets taken down immediately, but he hasn't given up just yet. His team plays still aggressive when he gets taken down, but now is the time where they do have to reserve. Now, these are the final blows coming through. Chopper takes down Dino, and now they still have time, 1 minute 52 seconds for them, so they just need to really figure out what they're doing, because it really invested a lot of time where they didn't really need to.
Good. Still a good delay onto Shin with that kill for the Ashe player, or the Tracer player onto Ashe. goes in fishing for the pulse bomb, doesn't quite find it. And just gonna give Lunaris some time to get their Winston back. Orkin did fall. They just need to get recollected and get back on the point. But initially it looks like Rogue on that team is gonna be peeking in, trying to pry in some sort of angle for their Wrecking Ball, who drops the minefield right on. Kate digging into the backlines though, going for the support, going for that Ashe long-range character threat. Really the ones that have a harder time dealing with Tracer. And so far they're finding some success with it. Knocking away Nox, making sure that they can't get any res. High value coming in from Bork, and then jumping right onto the Ashe, putting her in a corner, making sure she can't get any value, despite Bob still being on the field. Bob is gonna be a brief contest, not for long as Lunaris continue to hold him. Bob sitting in the corner.
In a tough position now for Sakura East, and they're trying to figure out what to do. The Tigers are going to keep coming through, and this is just more time. Only 45 seconds. There's like 45 seconds remaining for them to try to take this fight, and actually it's only been 2 full fights, but they've taken so long that it's just affecting them. Now they change the composition, but it might just be too late for them to try to build some ultimates that Lunaris definitely has. That rally is going to be really good initiative.
The rally as well as attack visor. Chopper's gonna have it. Rogue's gonna be looking to respond to it. We're now seeing Cheddar trying to swing heavy inwards, but Dino taking it down, followed quickly by Nox, who are already bleeding their members. This is not a great spot. There will be somebody on the point in the form of a Rogue, but they get torn out of that Diva mech so quickly. The question now is, can Nox touch onto that Lucio? We're gonna be seeing the soldier activate the nano visor just to ensure throwing themselves off the mech. The confidence from Lunaris ensures that they're gonna hold first.
One of my favorite things you see is just everyone jumping off the map right at the end. It just shows the confidence that they have. And now Lunaris is in such a good spot to try to attack here. They don't even have to get the entire point. They just have to get a tick and a little bit more. That should be more than enough for them to take the victory. Sakura Esports, they did have the right idea when they changed the composition, but it was way too late. They only had less than a minute left. No ultimates to use. In the meantime, Lunaris had pretty much everything, and the rally that we know is so strong was just going to force everyone back. Sakura is definitely having a hard time. They can definitely hold here, but it's not going to be easy. Once again, they have to play really, really aggressive. A lot of damage that has to be coming through for them to try to get some value out of. And I mean, damage will be happening because it seems like we're going to be seeing a Bastion.
Yeah, but the question for me becomes, can you really get aggressive with that Bastion who does most of his damage, the lion's share if you prefer, in that stationary form?
It's not going to be easy again. This is really a challenge. And once your Bastion gets taken down, you know that Lunaris is going to be unstoppable. They're going to take advantage of it. They're going to take down your supports. I don't think it's going to be easy for Nox to come up with the rest again. It's going to be really hard. It is possible, but yeah, a lot of pressure coming through that double shield that we'll be seeing is not very common in this meta right now. But it could definitely work for Sakura Esports. We're going to be seeing what they have to bring now.
A little bit of a callback to that bunker era. We're seeing the Baptiste, we're seeing the Mercy. Orkin getting burned down rather quickly by that Bastion already. However, it's going to be Cave who's the real threat here, already fishing out for a hack onto that Bastion. He'll have to deal with the rest of the team. Goes fishing for it, the dive comes in from Orkin, the Immortality field, there to keep everybody alive, but still somehow Genter finds the kill onto Shin, so that Bastion out of the fight for just a little bit. Now we might see very carefully here, Lunaris play their angles, play their sidelines, and kills going in both directions. No res once again available for the defending team, as Shin has to take this reload, now left very dangerously alone on high. No tanks to keep them active, and now drops onto the low ground, perhaps again another very vulnerable position, but it already looks like they've done the damage. Lunaris already reeling, having to regroup.
Lunaris did take a tick though, so now it's only a matter of pushing everyone back, which is exactly what's going to happen.
It certainly will, and now somebody needs to come in with the touch from Sakura. If they can make it happen, it will be the tanks who are looking to put their lives on the line. Lunaris still managing to hemorrhage their players. Madero next to go down. Chopper standing on this point, but there's only so much a Tracer can do, especially against the Gatling gun who fires at about 12,000 rounds a minute.
The Shin gameplay, I absolutely love PC now. They take control still. It was really, really close, but they still managed to take control. It was only 4% more that Lunaris needed to take that victory there. But Sakura Esports definitely hasn't given up just yet. They're going to be having a tank floor coming for Bastion. So more damage, a Valkyrie as well to initiate, and a lot of opportunities as long as Cave doesn't have that EMP already.
The Chopper have that pulse bomb online. They need to land it big here. Perhaps take out the support order. Gonna get Immortality Field or Rez out of the game. Gonna be big here. Although Cave gonna do it without a pulse bomb, just taking down that Baptiste early on. We're now seeing the Supercharger, the Turbocharger rather, come online, helping that Bastion. Trying to get in some damage, but Lunaris able to just hug those walls, mitigate a lot of damage. We're seeing Cave go in with the EMP. No, not going with the EMP, not gonna combo with the Diva Bomb. Normally this is kind of how you'll see, but the Chopper does end up taking down the Bastion with a Pulse Bomb. The Mercy seem to be cleaned up. That Bastion's not coming back anytime soon, and might either also be the case for Sakura. Can't quite get onto point. It's gonna be Rogue trying to drop a Gravitic Flux onto the field, keeping everybody out, but no, it shall be Lunaris who walks right on the point, takes it. They're gonna be getting the 3-0 here.
EMP wasn't even needed from Lunaris to take the victory there. It seemed like it was the winning conditions that they had, but they were playing so aggressive, they knew exactly how to counter the Bastion composition that we saw from Sakura Esports, that they knew how to play. Yeah, it took them a little bit. They died at least 2 or 3 times each, but after that, the Secret Control, they knew exactly what to do and to take the victory here, so they will be moving on into the next round of the winners.
Yes, and similarly, that means we will still be seeing Sakura, but it will just be on the lower bracket. They will be taking a little bit of a knee, maybe. They'll meet their opponents once again in Lunaris down there, or back up at the finals if they're able to cling to life for that long. But either way, a big congratulations to Lunaris for being able to walk away with the 3-0. Now, this is the conclusion of Lunaris versus Sakura, but you guys still have a little bit of a job to do. Make sure you're voting for those MVPs in the bottom of Twitch chat. As well, we are going to be taking a brief little break. We will be back, however, with an interview from one of the teammates from Lunaris. So stick around. I'm sure not going to want to miss it. Hello and welcome back, everybody. You voted, we heard you, and me and Dryad pulled some special strings just for Twitch chat to ensure that we could get the MVP in here for a quick interview. We're going to be popping in with Specs. Now, Specs, Lunaris coming off a big win, 3-0 over Sakura Esports. It seemed like you guys were very cohesive here today, and actually, I want to focus on that Soldier, because we saw a lot of Soldier coming out from Chopper. Did you guys put a lot of practice into that, or was it just one of those kind of fun compositions you decided to try out?
So actually we have 2 hits game players on the team. So we have we thought Soldier and Tracer would work better than the Echo. We tried both, but Echo was not giving us as much success as the Soldier Tracer just because they're a lot more comfortable on those heroes and they just kind of pop off.
Yeah. And also, I mean, going into the conversation about Soldier, do you think he is capable of, being meta in the future? Is there something that teams are kind of testing out? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We've seen that players can be just so good at him, like we saw Chopper doing. But do you think it's possible to see him more often?
Yeah, I think Soldier has a lot of playability right now. I think he's very flexible. You can play him in a lot of different ways. He can play like a spam, or he can play just kind of flank doing whatever he wants to do. And I think Chopper is just mechanically better than, a lot of the players we're playing against. So I think that gives us an advantage. And I think it's really good into the Echo, which a lot of teams are playing right now.
Yeah, for sure. And going off a little bit of what we saw from you, so how was the preparation for this? We know that you've been in a few different teams and you have some success, and you actually were looking for a team recently. So tell me a little bit about the synergy that you had right now with the learners. How did it work? And we know that this composition depends a lot of the team connections that you have, the synergy. So how is that working for you?
So I was actually previously on a team with Borkin. We played on Hype Unit a while ago, and then we played on Kratos together after that. So we have a lot of synergy as a tank line, and I was looking for a team for TOC about a week and a half before the tournament, and a couple teams reached out to me, and I trialed for Lunaris, and it just seemed like the best fit out of all the options I was given. And then we were able to bring in Borkin as well, so that kind of sweetened the deal for me.
Yeah.
And just everybody on the team I've played with before, like Cabe, Chopper, all those guys. We all have some experience together, so it just worked really well.
Okay. And I have one more question for you. So when you saw that you were going against Sakura Esports, how did you prepare? Were you scared that you maybe nervous that it was going to be hard, or were you confident that you were going to get that 3-0 again, like you did when you faced it was UDG Gaming?
No, we weren't nervous at all going into this. I think we're confident. We just kind of alphaed up. Generally, the team that plays more confident wins, right? So
yeah,
we just kind of put it all out there. Always going first, always, showing what we can do, being as out there as we can. We were confident for sure.
I think we, at least Dryad and I, were definitely able to tell through some of this gameplay. We were commenting on that just a little bit. But Specs, it's about time for us to wrap it up here with this interview. Before we let you go, though, I do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs, any creds you want to throw around towards anybody you feel willing.
I don't know. I'm just really happy with how everybody played on the team, and I'm excited to see where we go in the future with this tournament.
Well, I know that for myself and Dryad, we are definitely excited to see where you go as well. But once again, Specs, thank you very much for coming in, answering a few of our questions, and putting on a great game, if I might say.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Take care. And with that, Dryad, we are just about ready to take a brief little break. We are still waiting on the conclusion of some of our other games before we can find out exactly who we're going to be diving into as we look ahead towards that losers bracket round 1. Again, don't want to miss it, so stick around, folks.
now with Hydra building up to this Vera barrage so quickly.
Oh!
And asking!
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact, se escucha debajo gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go. Figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting till it's for sure lost. Winnable!
Tired of the competitive grind and random teammates? Want to put your team to the test against opponents of similar SR? Ever been told to get good, but felt like you were never given the chance? Introducing our Get Good tournament, open to PC and console teams in NA and EU region. Our goal is to provide you with an environment that will push your team play and individual skills to new heights and an opportunity to make new friends along the way. Our divisions range from beginner to unlimited, and the tournament will start off with a 5 to 6 week group stage in Swiss format, ending in a 2-week-long playoff bracket. You can even be showcased live as we stream matches with talented casters every week on Twitch. The winner for each division is crowned champion and will get a fancy champion's role. Get Good signups will start on October 5th, with the tournament starting on the 23rd for PC and the 24th for console. And if you don't have a team yet, but would like to experience playing in a team, fear not. Solo player signups is a team building service offered by Elohel Esports in preparation for our Get Good tournament. Sign up on your own and you will be put into a team of 6. Solo player signups are open right now. Go to elohel.gg/getgood for more information and to sign up for the real 6v6 experience.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elohel pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh, no! Kill! Let's go.
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elohel Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Everybody, Big Hungry Phil here with a note of thanks to Opinion Outpost for sponsoring the Trial of Champions. Want to make some extra cash? Well, earn money through Opinion Outpost by just sharing your opinion. All you've got to do is fill out some surveys. You can make money while watching streams, queuing for a game, or even waiting for your teammates to group up for one final overtime push on the point. Use Opinion Outpost to get that skin you've always wanted. There's nothing better than treating yourself to some well-deserved loot boxes after a long competitive grind. Visit the link to start making money today.
I'm putting all of my time into this always. And to be honest, it kind of has to work out because my academic career wasn't amazing. Video gaming is kind of all that I have. So I don't really have a lot else to put, you know, a lot more energy to put into it. It's everything that I can.
They say like do what you love, and I really like playing Overwatch. I make fun of the game a lot and, you know, complain about balance patches and stuff, but I really do enjoy the game. I want to make a career out of it.
So I started playing Overwatch in October 2016. That was like season 3. My first ranking ever was 900. So I started in like bottom bronze.
Playing games for money and playing games for pro and going against really good people. And it's always like a dream. Realizing that if I stick to it, this might be something I can actually do something with and be proud of.
When I was originally in Diamond, some guy in my Diamond game a while ago said, "We're never going to go pro, we're Diamond, why are we trying so hard?" And I basically said, "Screw you, I'm going to go pro."
We have now learned that we do have this potential and we need to use this. We need to continue practicing and working harder.
When you look at tier 3, you know, a lot of us have been at the bottom of the barrel. We've been in the downs and the dumps of, you know, the Overwatch ladder system.
I think as a team going into Trial of Champions, now we know we can do this.
Making it to Contenders Trials proves to myself that all the hard work that I'm putting into it is actually doing something.
I went to the Atlanta Reign homestand, seeing those players up on stage. That was the moment I was like, that's who I want to be. I want to do everything I can to get there.
Sigma, oh, whoa! Oh, man, back with the K.
It's just W. Oh my god! Their wall just set it up. They had no idea.
The Overwatch League players already made it. They're as high as you can get. They're playing for money and they're playing for clout. But for us, in Tier 3, we're basically playing for our future. If we want to make it, we have to play every match our hearts.
The unique strats that you see in Overwatch League, they all start here.
I am making this dream that I've had for so long, you know, a reality.
At the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, is to play the best Overwatch we can against the best players we can to prove that we're the best.
This is the Overwatch League Grand Finals, bro. We're down 0-2 we're against Shock, bro. We're Soul Dynasty. Yeah, we gotta bring it back.
They lose. They lose.
Yeah, but we got. Dude, you didn't finish, man. We have to change the outcome of the last map. Yo, can someone give me a 20-second speech, bro? Inspiration.
Hey, you're super good, super duper whooper. You've got this.
Ah, that didn't help, bro. GG's.
You good? I just talked to the enemy team.
What'd you tell them?
They said if I go Junkrat, J3 goes Genji.
Oh shit, then we win. Alright, let's do it. We need to win this for the content.
Oh my god, the complete underdog comeback victory out of nowhere.
We're ready, right, boys?
Oh yeah.
No.
I'm ready. Shrine.
Dude, I haven't played scrims in a long time. I went to lock Ash as a
Listen,
joke.
Anna?
Last time I scrimmed, I had hair, so what are we doing?
Dude, it's past my bedtime.
Is it actually?
It's almost, isn't it almost 11? It's almost 11. That's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it's 11. Almost 11, yeah.
What? How? Where do you live?
He's like, I don't know. He's like some
Oh wait, you're Canada, right?
Canada island.
Yeah.
Okay, if it was West servers, sometimes I remember this one time I had 12 ping.
Yeah, I was playing at a hotel in LA and I had 11 ping. Like what?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Talking to your girlfriend. It's game time.
This is the peak of our careers.
Game time.
What are you talking about?
Where they're coming from, Colin? Where they're coming from? Okay.
They're right side.
They're all right side.
I'm gonna go for a boop.
They're simps, bro. We gotta get our simps. Our team simps.
Yo, when are the team provided simps happening?
You got him.
Yeah, you got it.
Wait, nice! Nice! Ball touching, ball touching.
More, too. More no fade, more no fade.
No, he's not.
Oh, baby.
No.
Dude, look at all the confetti, yo. Yo, this candy. Yummy.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the Trial of Champions presented by Elo Hell. Warrior Casket Entertainment. Once again, Sir Waltham and Dryad. We're coming off the back of our round of 16 game between Lunaris and Sakura. And it will be Lunaris who walked away with the victory that time, but that dovetails us into the losers round one. And we're going to be seeing Gorilla Grip Gaming versus Last Second Dryad. What are our opinions here?
Well, this is going to be a really interesting matchup. We know that Girly Group Gaming has had a really good performance so far. Yeah, they are in the losers bracket now, but they have a lot of fans. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the name. I don't know if it's the players. I don't understand, but they definitely are the favorites coming to the matchup for Last Second. Again, they are also a really good team, but they've had some difficulties, and it definitely shows knowing that they're in this losers bracket. They still have one more chance, but one of them has to take the victory here in order to keep going on this Trial of Champions.
Yes, and that, of course, unfortunately means that one of them will have to take the loss and get knocked out here, as it is pretty much fight for your life once you drop into this losers bracket. And you talk about the advantages these teams have, but if I'm talking about one advantage that Gorilla Grip Gaming have, it's alliteration. I think people sleep on just how valuable a team name can really bolster you. I think GGG definitely has it going for them.
Yeah, and they have a lot of possibilities. They can just say gorilla, and that shows enough dominance to scare you. And then they can say GG, so that's also dominance. And when you look at their icon, I mean, you just can't ignore it. They're a favorite for a reason. But then again, Last Second is a really good team. They've been on the scene for now a while, and yeah, they've had some difficulties, but this is where we're going to be seeing who's going to come up on top. They just came from a match where they didn't do too well. They just lost 0-3, so maybe just resetting the mental, seeing what they can do now. And if you already know the playstyle of Gorilla Grip, where they really like their rush, you can play around that, you can counter it, so it's possible for them as well.
Yeah, the mental reset going to be so crucial for both of these teams. However, as we look ahead, get a little bit of a sneak peek to the map, we are going to be going to Busan moving forward. We will have the map set coming up right now. As a matter of fact, we will start off on Busan, and then based off of winners and losers, it will be choice of the escort map, the hybrid map, then the assault map as well, if it's necessary, if we go beyond a 3-0 here, Dryad. But I am getting word that we are about to hop into the game, and I'm really excited to see GGG versus Last Second here.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting matchup, and the level of the teams should be really, really close, so I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. Again, it is possible, but it's not going to be easy. Gorilla Group Gaming just came from a match where they lost 3-1, So they still have a little bit more of energy compared to last second that lows 3. So it's going to be challenging, but I really like that we're starting here. This map is really interesting. Seeing this brawl, I really want to see the tanks being a crucial part of the composition, and we're going to have to wait just a few seconds for teams to really settle on what they want to play. But the rush composition here, having that Reinhardt, having that Starry if they want to, the D.Va is also a possibility, but it just enables teams to play a little bit more aggressive, and once again it just comes into who gets the picks first.
And last second, certainly opening up with a good pick composition here. They have that Zenyatta, they have the Roadhog as now. It's going to be everybody barreling out of the spawn for them. Definitely going to have to be heads up for the hooks if you're on the side of Gorilla Gaming, who already taken the high inner wall here, as we can see. Last second, focusing towards those bay door high ground. As now you can see, last second trying to wrap around, everybody trying to get wrapped around here. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Berserky, who does take the initial death here. Swift 16 quick to clean them up with that Moira. Gorilla Grip now going to have that manpower, especially as Demitar gets taken down on that Sigma. Gorilla Grip going to be moving right on to point. Vasquez hiding underneath, providing that constant healing from the wounds here. That can be so crucial in times of trouble. As Roadhog on the high ground does land a hook onto Client, but you can only do so much when it's a lone Roadhog versus an entire opposing team of gorillas who just need to dominate this point. They're thumping their chests on point now.
They definitely are 15% for them, so they definitely take control. This is going to be challenging for last second to start a recon. The pulse bomb is going to be available, but it's not going to be easy, especially knowing that Zero is so dominant on their Reaper. This is exactly what we're seeing, trying to build up that blossom with that EMP from Bond would be a perfect combination for them to take more dominance.
And Berserker Key gonna be trying to get the kills onto Bun, but Bun just strafing a little too hard, gets him with the final melee shot here, Dryad.
And just like that, they take control again. It just seems like for last second, there hasn't been really a clear fight. We saw at the beginning, one of them was lost, and then they didn't really know what to do. They still have time, but no ultimate is available. This is going to be really bad. Knowing that Bun has an EMP ready, this is a perfect engaging tool in this moment, and this will enable Zero to also build his dead boss in just a few seconds.
Shaq gonna avoid avoiding that EMP as we look ahead. GGG now going to be pushing up on their advantage. They take down. It's going to be a pretty soft pull away from last second. And so far, Gorilla Grip dominating this fight thus far. They are ticking upwards towards that 75% mark.
Really interesting fight that we just saw. Actually, Vaughn only gets one hack using the EMP, but it was just more than enough to push everyone from last second all the way back. They do have that bomb they will be using, just try to touch point and do anything.
Oh, yeah, but a big bomb coming in from Client. You don't have to worry about Bob when the bomb is a little bit more superior. Gorilla Grip taking everything on the field down. Now they're taking up from 90%. Can a touch come through?
What an amazing selfish strike that we just saw, that it just gives them so much control. It's going to be really hard for last second to touch him.
It will be difficult, but not impossible. Yankee manages to barely get on the point. Gets burned down immediately on that Echo. The Transcendence has to be forced out from Shaq. Gets taken way off point with a deep pin coming in from Ultra. Not too worried about that, knowing that the reinforcements not quite there. Now the Wrecking Ball. These are some last-minute contest picks coming through for last second. They're living up to their name, and Ultra throwing themselves off the map in celebration. It's 100-0 in favor of Gorilla Grip.
Once again, just so much control and domination that we're expecting from Gorilla Grip Gaming, but that was the first map. So last second still has another opportunity. You just know the Gorilla Grip Gaming really likes that brawl style composition. They are going to try to force it as much as they can, and that makes last second have the opportunity to adapt to what's necessary coming into this next map. I love seeing this because it's going to force probably a dive. It might be coming from last seconds from what it seems like, and just taking those high grounds is going to enable the team so much. I love seeing this every single time, and the biggest difference is definitely going to be that support lineup is going to be so important. Shaq needs to make sure that he's staying alive, that he's getting value out of Shinjata. Those Discord orb are so important in this meta, just trying to melt anyone that you can really damage.
And as we look ahead, not much to peel for Shaq except maybe a coach gun from Berserky. As now we look ahead, last second already trying to get up there through Demitar on that wing, but trying to take quite a bit of damage from Berserky. Again, using that Coach Gun to try to get away, but Bun catches them mid-air. Now Gorilla Grip has the opportunity to lead in with man advantage. They do lose their Diva mech, and then the Diva subsequently following in that baby form. As we see Yankee now trying to get real aggressive, push in with this focusing beam, takes down Basilisk. And now last second might be turning it around here, although they still have to get some members on the point, otherwise it will go in favor of the side of Gorilla Grip, who are now just having to do a slow back off as Zero takes the loss.
They take control of the situation actually last second, knew exactly how to play. Even though Gorilla Group Gaming was on point, they didn't give up just yet. Now this is a really good positioning that we're going to be seeing from the Ashe, just forcing everyone to be a little bit more careful from the side of Gorilla Grip. It's not going to enable them to play as aggressive as they would want to. They need to dive on the Ashe, but it's a long way there, so it's not going to be as easy. They need to figure out how to engage, and the perfect engagement here is going to be that Coalescence. That EMP will be ready though.
See exactly what kind of value the side of Gorilla Grip can get for their ultimates. Client takes down Demitar, but it's traded for Ultra. Both Divas taking down both Winstons. Perfect parity there. We do see the EMP come out from Bun, but it doesn't seem to land on a whole lot. Similarly, Yankee trying to get the duplicate Sombra in there as well. Doesn't find a whole lot. The EMPs being strongly resisted by both of these sides. As Diva Bomb from Samaritan does clear out the point that Moira not able to build up Coalescence for next fight as quickly as they might like. Last second holds, and they still managed to pull a few ults.
And those initial engagements are so important. It's going to define who's going to win the fight. And for now, it keeps being last second. They know exactly what to do, how to play. Now they have Bob available to throw into point when they see Gorilla Grip trying to engage again. And the EMP didn't really get as much value. Bun is definitely having some troubles doing that. Zero actually is what is going to be the key here. That Dead Blossom might be big.
We can see that Winston trying to fish out for any early damage. Demitar trying to find something, but Berserky gonna be throwing Bob right onto point just to sure up that contest will come through. You see Zero gonna be tucking right in towards that. Bob has that Reaper, but the Primal Rage from Ultra actually coming in big, knocking Bob away. This is gonna open up Gorilla Grip's opportunities for the point recap here, but it's just gonna be Zero who drops the Death Blossom. A very late maneuver here, takes down the Ashe, but might not be able to find a whole lot more. In fact, will be burned from the grave by Berserky.
I would have really liked to see that Blossom coming up very early. Now we're going to be seeing the Tigers. Everyone trying to touch point, but it just might be too late for Gorilla Grip.
They are going to be engaging with that sound barrier, trying to stall out for as long as possible. We see Yankee on this Sombra, trying to just get some early hacks, trying to disable anybody on point as well. Sure up this fight in any way they can. They do have the EMP. They drop it. Lock down Zero on that Doomfist. Not able to get any of the abilities, any of the punches rolled into those combos. And now it's last second looking dominant in this fight. It will eventually close in their favor, 6% to 100.
That was a really tough situation as well for Basilisk, who was forced to use that sound barrier at the beginning to stay alive and to try to keep everyone on point, but then the EMP comes through and you don't have that sound barrier to keep your team alive. So it was just a matter of time before last second took the opportunity and took the victory there. I love seeing how much they benefit out of that dive composition. It works so well. And now we're just coming into the last sub-map of Busan. I'm very curious to see what they decide to play. We've seen a lot of variation from teams here, and this is going to define who's going to be taking the initial victory here. It's going to be definitely really challenging, and from what it seems, it might be the possibility of having those snipers from last second.
But we are seeing them on that Hog Sigma again, not able to find as much value on that mecha base. We'll see if they can turn it around here towards that Sanctuary Gorilla Grip. Already going to be able to get to point a little bit faster, as they do have that Lucio Basilisk able to get them rotated. And now they're actually waiting for last second, perhaps waiting for the catch to come through. As now neither team looking for a really hard engage. Here's the wraparound from last second. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Yankee on this Widow holding those very long sight lines. The point unlocks and bullets have yet barely been able to be traded, but Demitar gets jumped on immediately, gets caught out, and because of that, Client and company able to get the damage in there. Now this is a good opportunity for Gorilla Grip. We're looking to funnel right on the point. We just have to contest with that Roadhog who gets hacked out. That makes him a giant pincushion. Samaritan has to play very carefully, get away if possible, but it's going to be the booms from Basilisk ensuring that that does not happen. Jack takes it down Ultra, and now Basilisk going a little bit deep in with this Lucio, trying to get some kills. Doesn't quite get more than just the kill onto Yankee, as it's going to be Gorilla Grip having this first point flip and managing to hold.
Klein has been consistently good at Diva, knowing exactly who to dive and having not only peeling for your support, but also playing a little bit more aggressive with you. Winston does exactly what you have to do in this composition, and it's worked so well from them that initial engagement was crucial to see who was going to take the victory, and knowing that last second doesn't have a Moira, the coalescence that will be coming through is going to be really, really important to see if they can get to the 60%, which is ideally where you want to get in this map in Busan.
As mentioned, there's no support ultimates on the line for last second. Yankee trying to get behind and really deal the damage to Dimitar as they are below that half health line. It's gonna be Gorilla Grip dropping into Coalescence, burning down the opposition. Sombra, the Diva able to both get kills, and Ultra on the chase towards the Echo, not quite able to clean up, but Client sure will be able to. That Diva able to fly, use those jet boosters, and now the Zenyatta's next on the hit list as he gets chased down, burned up by many missiles. As now the D-Mac comes through for Samaritan, we're gonna let that Diva ride around a bit.
And they do get to the 65% that we were talking about. Now they're looking really good. That ultimate advantage will be coming through. That Prima Rachel is going to serve in case that things go wrong, but also having that EMP to engage is just such an ideal situation for Gorilla Group. I mean, they're going to get it to 90 if we see last second not engaging first.
Now we see Bun throw in that EMP, cancels out or takes down Shaq before the Transcendence can go on a line, given how much damage can be peeled onto Zenyatta's. And with that, Gorilla Grip just wins it pretty much right off the bat. Berserky throwing in a late pop, it's a little bit costly.
Yeah, and those kills that we see at the end are going to be really, really hard to come back to. When we see the last second they're slapping into the fastest here, they're going to try to touch point, but they don't touch. So Gorilla Grip Gaming takes the first map.
Overall, the kills were just a little bit too delayed coming through for Gorilla Grip, meaning last second did not have the response to get into point. However, the play of the game is going to be snatched up by Bun on this Sombra for 5-man EMP, do believe, and then the immediate focus on the Shaq. You like Shaq on the target priority coming in from your DPS.
Sombra always being so important in this composition. When you see a Sombra in one, not a Sombra in the other, it's either going to be a complete domination from this team getting really good EMPs, or there has to be some strategy coming from the enemy figuring out how to counter the Sombra, which is not really easy. You usually have the Diva to try to scout, to try to find the Sombra, but it's just not so easy. The Sombras at the highest level are so hard to find, and even when the EMP happens, it's so hard to counter. The Lucios have a lot of difficulty with this. And just because of that, Gorilla Grip Gaming is looking so good, but I still have a few concerns from them because on that second map, they didn't look as confident. And that brings the possibility of lasting and bringing it back in the next map.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit. Last second did not look good on the Sigma Roadhog. If they can identify that and keep on to a composition that they seem to be very dominant over Gorilla Grip with, I think it could change the complexion of this matchup completely. However, it's a question of will they feel confident to run it on maps that might not be as established for it. We're going to be going on to Dorado, so I don't necessarily see the Roadhog Sigma being as prevalent there.
And the reason why last second won that second map in Busan was because they were playing dive and they knew exactly how to play it. Now, Dorado is a perfect opportunity to run this composition again, and a big opportunity for them to try to make that comeback, to try to bring this to 1-1. It was just a matter of Gorilla Grip Gaming in that map that they lost, not really knowing what to do, not really knowing how to engage, and that just gave last second such a good benefit. I want to see this coming again. They have a really good DPS, a really good DPS lineup on both sides, but last second could be highlighted by this. It's just, once again, those EMPs if you're going to be going with Sombra. That Dead Blossom that didn't get as much value on the prior map, but it's possible to get now. And if you're going with snipers, getting the first pick is going to be so important if your tank line is going to be a Winston and a Diva.
Yeah, for me, it's largely going to be upon which team can capitalize upon the mistakes. I think so far we've started to see slight cracks in both of these teams' armor as far as their points go, as far as them being able to perform here objectively. But it's really going to be able, especially as we move towards these more objective maps, can they capitalize? Can they continue to build on the fact that, a Reaper threw out a bad ult, or the Sombra EMP didn't capture as much as they needed, or, the Zenyatta was taken down early from bad positioning? That's really going to be the telltale signs to me of which team's going to run away with this one.
Gorilla Grip Gaming feels really comfortable on the Rush Brawl style composition, but when it comes to that, they do have some trouble. They actually did mark that brawl style as what they wanted to run the most. So if Last Second can take advantage of this, force a dive, knowing that they're going to be better at it, this is going to be really good for them. And if we can also have supports that are going to be there, that coalescence that has to come through at the beginning. We always mention it, that EMP very early on. There are so many engaging tools that they can use to play a little bit more aggressive, which seems like it's the only thing that's lacking here.
Yeah, definitely have to agree. And overall, I do want to say we've seen some pretty good play come out from these DPS players, but I'm not necessarily sure that the selections we're seeing might be as optimal. I'm not quite. I'm pretty lukewarm on the overall Echo picks moving forward, but I think Dorado really an opportunity to kind of change my mind on that one. It's a map where you can take advantage of some pretty high skyboxes, make it very difficult, particularly that first and second point.
And if we get to see the soldier again, that would be really good for the team. Just try to get some more value out of it. And well, now we're seeing the composition that the defenders are going to be running. Guerrilla Group Gaming will actually be running what we were expecting, the Brawl Rush style composition that benefits them so much. But we know the Last Second can definitely take advantage of this. It's going to be tough just trying to push here, but after you get to the corner, it should be ideal to see who's going to play more aggressive and try to get more value, especially out of the tank line, where we might see a few differences.
We can see, at least as far as I'm speaking for myself, a favorite in that Pharah coming online, but Yankee going to be deciding that the Echoes what they want to opt into. Again, perfect opportunity to change my mind on the performance we've seen. It's going to be Last Second, just looking around, perhaps seeing what they can find. They got to get the feeling that Gorilla Grip is hiding in this small room. We do see them kind of rotating around, at least Berserky, going to be trying to rotate around, find any opening they can, and a lot of debate coming through here from Last Second as to what they actually want to run while the setup's happening.
But I really like that they're doing this so early on, so they can make adaptations and make sure that they get to push more. This is going to be ideal for them. Now they get to play more aggressive. Now they try to push the payload. And the most important thing is that the defense is holding so close.
The defense looking to burn off as much time early on. A huge anti-nade coming in from Shaq. Ultra has to throw that shield up, try to keep alive as long as possible until it can wear off, but it's going to be Yankee who ensures that that's not long for this world. Last Second now leading in these kills once again. Yankee trying to get away from the hack, but able to, as they do just have to take off and immediately land. Now, Last Second holding up on this high ground. It's an aspect that Gorilla Grip Gaming don't seem well fit to cope with, as we now see the rain from on high. Berserky using that Ash rifle to strategic advantage here, picking off the Diva, picking off the Sombra, using the Dynamite as well. Sombra has to translocate just to get away. A good opening for Last Second, although it did take him a bit to get working.
Yeah, definitely took them a bit, and especially we saw that Swift Coalescence that didn't get as much value as you would want to. Now, a few ultimates that are going to give Last Second a huge advantage are going to be having Bobsy thrown to point, and that's going to make Guerrilla Group's gaming life a little bit harder just for a few seconds. The main thing here, though, is trying to take a lot of space. They don't want the payload to stop in this corner. If not, it's going to be hard to engage here.
We do see Bob go out Berserky, throwing him right into the doorway, gets knocked back right onto Cart with the rest of Gorilla Grip pushing up to hold. Now we see Yankee go in with the Reinhardt, gets a big shatter off of 2 swings, takes 2 down, but the sound barrier from Basilisk is there to keep everybody alive. It's gonna be Yankee getting another Earth Shatter, just keep swinging at the ground. My man, apparently you land it. And now the self-destruct does come in and gets a 1 kill. Last Second looking to pull ahead off of a good duplicate coming in from Yankee. Already I can feel my mind starting to rotate about how viable that Echo is.
That duplicate is always so good. I love seeing it every time, especially when he turns to Reinhardt. They just seem unstoppable. That shatter that keeps coming through over and over again. Now, Gorilla Gaming is struggling, yeah, but the dash blossom will be coming through. He's able to get here in time. This would be a huge opportunity to hold more.
A big EMP comes on the line from Bun, but Zero taken down, not able to get too much value off the back of it. The Diva Bomb goes in from on high from Client. Demitar taken down. That Winston no longer going to be the front line for Last Second. It's going to be Yankee was brought dangerously low, and now Gorilla Grip Gaming is able to regain a little bit of composure, but just too many angles for this Reinhardt played by Ultra to have to cope with. You see them struggling to keep their shields angled up in any particular direction. Will be Klein who gets the D-Max, but it looks like Gorilla Grip Gaming may have already put the nails in this coffin, despite Zero getting taken down on Tracer. down that pick just to get back to point a little bit faster here. And Berserky actually coming in big with the Bob and the Dynamite getting 2. 3.
The Dynamite actually is able to get both of the supports, and it just couldn't get any better for them. Now they are able to push a little bit more into the street space. 3 minutes remaining, so they're looking pretty good. A few ultimates were forced into this last fight, but that because of how long it was, it enabled them to kill them again, so they're not looking too bad. The real challenge is going to be for Guerrilla Gaming. They seem to have the hang of things just for a few seconds, and then they start getting picked one by one, so that puts a lot of pressure into them. I really want to see that EMP for them coming through in the next fight. It's huge for them to take control again.
The air shatter comes in from Ultra, lands onto just Samaritan, gets taken down. Not quite D-Max just yet, though. It's going to be Yankee swinging big with the Reinhardt again. Looks for the opening for the Earth Shatter. Throws it in, doesn't find a whole lot, but the damage has already been done. Nobody to Earth Shatter if they're all dead. As we look ahead, last second continues moving this cart, and it's going to be 0 on the exit.
Just a lot of spam that's coming from last second. That's enabled them to play more aggressive. Guerrilla Gaming once again seems a little bit lost into knowing how to engage properly to get some value out of their ultimate abilities. But this is the best opportunity that they have coming through. That Coalition should be ready in the next fight, but that can't let it happen. The EMP.
The EMP goes out, only lands on the Yankee and a like. Yankee able to get away with 25 HP. Not quite brought down. Demetar going into Primal Rage as well to buy a little bit of sustain during the entire duration of that EMP. And now Guerrilla Gaming looking pretty rough for this fight. Last second continuing to move ahead. Guerrilla will be falling in last second. Looking very good for that second so far.
They're definitely looking really, really good. They know exactly what to use. Their ultimate economy has been looking perfect every single time. They know what to use. They don't overuse those ultimates. And now this is the last fight to try to take the point.
And Bob does take down Ultra with the lift. And will be 1 kill going on to the side of last second, but that's not going to be enough to stop the momentum. This team has 0. Taken down by Bob, not quite playing those angles well enough, and now we're in 3rd point territory.
Bob definitely getting those 2 picks at the end, helping out the 7th player that we always mentioned who's doing so good. Now 2 minutes 20 seconds remaining for last second to get to 3rd, and it's just getting to look better for them. I'm surprised that Guerrilla Gaming hasn't changed their composition so far. They're playing around this spam that we see from last second, and it's not benefiting them at all. Some changes need to come through now.
We'll see if those changes are going to happen. We do see Swift trying to hold down that bottom floor, but not with their tanks, not able to give as much burst healing as you need to with that Moira. Has the Coalescence online, but it's actually going to be the self-destruct that goes in for the engage. Flag is taken down by Samaritan while the remake is coming in. The Yankee Asshole trying to build up a self-destruct of their own. Goes in. It does not quite land from Samaritan, but now it's going to be Yankee's turn. He throws it in. It will be the takedown onto Ultra. The self-destruct coming in rather large there in last second. Not looking to be stopped one bit here.
Every single fight has been won by last second. They look so good. That Duplicate once again getting a lot of value. That self-destruct always getting a few picks. Now, if that Primal Rage doesn't get any value along with the EMP, there's absolutely nothing the Guerrilla Gaming is going to be able to do to hold here.
We do see the sound barrier come out. Guerrilla Grip trying to make this their last stand. Ultra pulverizing Shaq into the corner. No nano boost available for that on this fight around, but last second now on the back up. It's only a minute left, and Guerrilla Grip burned off a bit of time.
Finally, they take control, and they are in a really good position to win next fight. Bun does have that EMP coming through. Zero is going to be having that Dead Blossom. And if they can combo these 2 abilities right into this last fight that we're getting close to, this would give them control. Even when they haven't looked so good, if you're able to hold this 3rd point, this gives you a big opportunity for the next round.
We see Bun setting up, fishing around, seeing what they might be able to get a lock onto. The EMP goes out, only lands onto Samaritan. We're only seeing these 1 or 2 man EMPs go through. Samaritan, however, does get hacked for the better of it as well. Looks like the cleanup is now all in favor of Guerrilla Grip. Try to hold just these giant blast doors as it's only 10 seconds left.
10 seconds, like you mentioned, is going to be really hard for them to touch. We see the Wrecking Ball, we see everyone trying to jump, but it seems like it's just going to be way too late for them.
There will be the Echo trying to fly in the nano boost to ensure they can make it there, but the knockaway too strong from Guerrilla Grip. And Guerrilla Grip, it felt like they lost most of the fights here on Dorado, but they were able to burn so much time.
I would say they won only 2 or 3 fights, so they shouldn't have been able to take control at the end. But getting to the attack of this 3rd point in Dorado is not easy, so definitely a lot that was improved by last second. But more for Gorilla Group Gaming for wasting so much time from them to just bring it to the overtime and making it unable for last second to get it. Now for Gorilla Grip, yeah, they take control like we mentioned, but it just puts a lot of pressure knowing that the composition that they were playing wasn't really working out for them. When they are attacking, I do want to see a little bit more aggression. If they're going to be playing that dive again, it has to be really, really successful from the beginning. If not, it's just going to be last second in their best spot, because when we saw that mirror match before, they knew exactly how to play around it, how to win against Gorilla Grip. And Gorilla Grip, once again, is really good at understanding and taking control of fights when they already have a small advantage. But when they don't really know how to engage, and that's the main problem for them right now.
We're looking at the defense now. Last second going to be running out with that Zenyatta. Again, a very vulnerable target to Bun on that Sombra. EMP, the hacks, all coming in big if you're able to get them. As now, we see Gorilla Grip stepping out of spawn, looking to just get any sort of poke, any opportunities for scouting, but it's already Yankee throwing down some damage onto that Echo, trying to just rain down onto the tanks, and Basilisk getting caught out immediately mid-air with the focusing beam. It's well played there from Yankee. It's gonna have to be the backup from Gorilla Grip, as that was a costly loss.
You definitely don't want to lose your Lucio. Yeah, he does have a lot of speed, but this is just a healer there, and you definitely need into the next fight. The speed that it gives you is something that no one else can give you in this game.
Ultra trying to go in for the dive onto the Ashe and Mercy, but the Mercy able to scout away, receives the healing from Zenyatta, so the healing not quite, or the damage not going to quite be there enough in spades for Ultra. Now Cart slowly moving its way to the underpass. Demitar dropping an early bubble does help take down Ultra, as Gorilla Grip has to push through in order to get a lot of their damage in and onto the team. You see that Zenyatta Shack holding off that angle from the Reaper. Zero not allowed to pass in this instance, and now the kill's going a little bit back and forth. Basilisk does take down Yankee Dryad.
Yeah, and also I really like seeing Shack's positioning all the way back, making sure that he's staying alive, but that is going to cause Gorilla Grip to play a little bit more aggressive here.
Now we see the dive coming in big from Ultra, trying to get the burn onto the Mercy, will just settle for the D.Va instead. As well, Ro16 going to be dropping that Coalescence, trying to deal more damage, get their team a little bit more of that confidence, but it's answered by Shack's Transcendence. However, the Transcendence not enough to save Berserky, as they are taken down by a single punch from the Gorilla themselves. The second punch goes into Samaritan, as now it looks like Gorilla Grip just about ready to seal this one up. The hack onto Demitar is going to be a huge feed for the ult bank of Gorilla Grip. The first point is achieved. Not enough stall coming through from last second.
It was just a matter of seconds for them, because we saw that the Ashe does have the bulb available. We saw this player was going to throw it into point, but it was just a little bit way too late. And now they still have this ability to be used, but this corner especially is going to be really, really hard. Knowing that Gorilla Gaming has all 5 ultimate abilities, the only one that they don't have is Swift's Coalescence, and we know that Moira builds his ultimate really, really fast. So they're in a perfect position to take a lot of dominance, to take a lot of space here and win here.
We'll see if Gorilla Grip can carry ahead. Ultra already taking quite a bit of damage. The EMP comes in and lands onto 3. Demitar taken down early. That Winston Primal, that Winston Ultimate, not having to be worried about building up. Samaritan taken down before they can drop the self-destruct. Won't be able to get back into the mech as quickly as they'd like. Yankee getting the duplicate on to the Moira. Yes, the Coalescence will be there, but will it be enough? Certainly does take down Client. We'll see if that's enough for last second to claim it back. Demitar now back into the fray, dealing with the primal rage of Ultra, who's taken dangerously low, has to back out just to receive a little bit of health pack healing. And last second, take a few losses. So far, they're able to compose themselves, Dryad.
Really good fight for them to win, knowing that Gorilla Gaming had every single advantage when it came to ultimate abilities. But one of the things that I like is that they didn't use all of their abilities at once. They knew exactly what he's using. Yeah, they didn't win the fight, but 3 minutes, 10 seconds remaining for this team to try to attack the second point, and they are so close to doing so that you just cannot ignore. Last second has a lot of pressure into the high ground.
Ultra taken down early, a little bit of a tank brawl there. Swift 16 gonna be dropping the Coalescence, trying to heal up that Reaper, trying their best, but to no avail. Berserky gonna be doing too much blast damage, and now it's Shaq's turn to drop the ultimate. Zenyatta support. As soon as that Transcendence is offline, Basilisk jumps upon that target. However, Basilisk swayed back just a little bit as Berserky takes the body shots, and now it's going to be the Wrecking Ball's turn, who does find success against that Zenyatta. Numbers looking pretty light for both teams, but the defenders will have that respawn advantage. They're going to capitalize upon it and push Gorilla Grip back.
Huge credits to last second once again for taking control in this situation, but still a lot of time they really need to engage very early on, and that is going to be happening with the Bob being thrown into the payload. That's going to help them not moving for just a few seconds while they try to get a few more picks. That Primal Rage is also going to be really important for the team.
Bun fishing for the Zenyatta, finds him, just gets the hack that EMPs the rest of the team as they go to support him. Excellent play coming in from that Sombra, but last second, still managing to pull back a few kills. Berserky on this high ground, pretty much uncontested, able to take 3 shots, pot shots if you prefer, as Demitar will be bullying the supports back and away from their team. The Sombra has to translocate just to get away. Bun not able to do it here this time around. Last second has this resilience.
They are committed into winning the fight, and they are doing so over and over again. They're not using more ultimates than they have to, and that's how they're taking the advantage, because Gorilla Grip Gaming, we talked about it, they are really good at holding the control that they have, but once they lose it, they don't really know what to do, and they seem lost for just a few seconds. Now, the time they had is down, and Basilisk gets taken down. Once again, they are not going to be having that speed.
He's going to be a missing factor here, as last second going to be looking to do some more damage onto the team that is a little bit weaker. Swift gets that Coalescence online, probably won't invest it without that Lucio being there and ready to back them up. That speed, very good for claiming certain angles, but Quiet gets taken down early. Bun creeping around on cart, but they don't look like they can do much.
It's not going to be easy for them. The Valkyrie is actually being used right now, so there goes one of the engaging tools that last second had. But overall, having control of this high ground is the ideal situation for them. That duplicate we saw being dominant over and over again, and this still has another opportunity to do so when they only have those 35 seconds left for Gorilla Grip Gaming. Something has to happen.
See if that something will perhaps be the Coalescence coming in large. But Berserk is going to be thrown in the Bob, helping to stall out just a little bit longer. It's going to be Yankee using that focus beam, trying to take down anybody but the D.Va, knocking them away like a ragdoll. And now the timer slowly ticking it down. The sound barrier coming online for Gorilla Grip, ensuring everybody can stay alive. But Shaq going to be returning the favor with his Zenyatta Transcendence, holding it as firm as possible. The D.Va self-destruct from Yankee doesn't achieve a whole lot, but Ultra able to take down that high ground threat from Berserky, and then hanging up the Zenyatta, bullying them in the corner. Ultra delivering with the primal there, not quite able to disrupt the resurrection that comes through, but the kill onto Ash looked sure, but Ultra had to drop down as that Mercy didn't quite give them the opening that they needed. Quiet now getting taken down. The Death Blossom comes in and claims one. The baby D.Va quick to be cleaned up as well. Zero from the long range, peddling Demitar down into the ground. Looks like this card is good for the second point. Nobody able to contest. That will lock it away. 1.5 minutes for Gorilla Grip.
Gorilla Grip takes control of the second point. It took them definitely longer than it should have, but that pressure of having the overtime forced them to make something happen. They use so many abilities, but they still have time. It has to be 1 or 2 fights, and they have to happen quickly for them to take the advantage. They have to make a lot of space, especially knowing that last second is going to try to take control of the high ground, like we see the D.Va doing again.
We already do see that D.Va on that high ground. Zero just trying to throw in some shots, spraying the Contenders logo onto the truck. We always support that cross promotion here, but it's now going to be Bun trying to deal the damage onto the Ash, with the rest of the team there to back them up as the translocate goes out. Gorilla Grip suffering in numbers, but still managing to get the kills, get that part moving. The hack onto the D.Va ensures that the self-destruct won't be there in time. No self-destruct means no stall out from that baby D.Va. This is now a great opportunity, and Gorilla Grip off the back of what I consider to be a key hack, able to ensure Dorado's victory.
They look so good at the end. Yeah, we pretty much ignore everything that happened, every single fight that they lost during that second point. They knew exactly how to play third, and it all just came to the DPS, really getting a few picks. Zero is such a good Reaper. We see it over and over again, getting the final blows. And also, just like you mentioned, those hacks coming through. Yeah, the EMPs haven't been as big as we would expect, but they are just more than enough for them to take the win here. And now we're on match point.
Yeah, so a very good spot for Gorilla Grip. And right now, Gorilla Grips kind of feel like an old beat up car, right? Like it takes them a few times to actually turn over, but they finally do in a matter of time. And then it's able to get them some distance, sometimes enough to cross the finish line. However, we are going to be taking a quick look at some of these highlights to see how these last two games kind of developed here, Dryad.
And when we look at this highlights, it definitely has to be a lot of the DPS coming through. That Diva bomb that we saw at the beginning, we have to wait just a few seconds to see them. But absolutely amazing plays that we've seen so far, and it's just the meta enabling this to happen.
Yeah, overall, I'm expecting, some pretty decent EMPs to be on there, some Death Blossoms. Zero going to be showing off without even the Death Blossom to start, pumping into that Roadhog Samaritan. Not looking quite great for it. And I think this, again, we talked about it, a little bit of a weaker comp for the side of Last Second.
Yeah, it definitely is, and for that reason, Gorilla Group Gaming knew exactly how to play around it. They do look so good, that EMP always coming through in Zero. That DPS lineup just looks amazing every single time.
Yeah, certainly a fan of Bun and Zira, at least for myself, as we see the Diva Bomb coming in and the 3K from Client just to add a little bit of salt into the wounds. It always hurts to see.
Every time I see one of the divas getting those self-destruct and getting so much value out of it, it's one of my favorite things to see. It doesn't happen quite often, and it really, really surprises us every time. And also, just getting so much value out of Reaper like we see Zero doing, it's definitely not normal. He's one of the top players here for a reason.
Certainly. Now we're seeing Yankee try to throw in the EMP, only gets a 1 for it, but I think that might have canceled out Bun's EMP as well. Now looking to quick turn around. Bun now going to be highlighting a little bit of their skills, pushing up onto this Widow. Then the quick focus onto the Zenyatta. This team cohesion from the side of Gorilla Grip seems really on point.
Yeah, that synergy that we always mentioned, so important. Shows the level that these two teams are at, because even when Last Second hasn't really won, they've looked really dominant during certain times. And for Gorilla Grip, this is a risky situation because that reverse swoop is a possibility.
It is a possibility, but we'll only be able to find out when these next matches go underway. But before that, we will be taking a brief little break, folks. So stick around. Game 3 between Gorilla Grip Gaming and Last Second underway after this.
right now with Hydra building up to this Bear Barrage so quickly.
Oh!
And asking!
Double kill in the back with the pulse bomb from the high ground. Aerial assault with that mine.
Impact se escucha debajo gritar campeón a Sky Foxes.
Holy cow.
And after 42 consecutive losses, the Shanghai Dragons get their first win.
8 teams enter this weekend.
Oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing?
We've got a clip with minimal information. It's time to break it down. Speed, 25%. Go. Figure out what this man's SR is.
Keep fighting till it's for sure lost. Winnable!
My time into this always, and to be honest, it kind of has to work out because my academic career wasn't amazing. Video gaming is kind of all that I have, so I don't really have a lot else to put, a lot more energy to put into it. It's everything that I can.
They say like do what you love, and I really like playing Overwatch. I make fun of the game a lot and complain about balance patches and stuff, but I really do enjoy the game. I want to make a career out of it.
So I started playing Overwatch in October 2016. That was like season 3. My first ranking ever was 900. So I started in like bottom bronze.
Playing games for money and playing games for pro and going against really good people. And it's always like a dream. Realizing that if I stick to it, this might be something I can actually do something with and be proud of.
When I was originally in Diamond, some guy in my Diamond game a while ago said, "We're never going to go pro, we're Diamond. Why are we trying so hard?" And I basically said, "Screw you, I'm going to go pro."
We have now learned that we do have this potential and we need to use this. We need to continue practicing and working harder.
When you look at tier 3, a lot of us have been at the bottom of the barrel. We've been in the downs and the dumps of, the Overwatch ladder system.
I think as a team going into Trial of Champions, now we know we can do this.
Making it to Contenders Trials proves to myself that all the hard work that I'm putting into it is actually doing something.
I went to the Atlanta Reign homestand, seeing those players up on stage. That was the moment I was like, that's who I want to be. I want to do everything I can to get there.
Sigma! Oh! Whoa! Oh, man, he's back with a PK.
This is W. Oh my god! The wall to set it up, they had no idea!
The Overwatch League players already made it. They're as high as you can get. They're playing for money and they're playing for clout. But for us, in Tier 3, we're basically playing for our future. If we want to make it, we have to play every match our hardest.
The unique strats that you see in Overwatch League, they all start here.
I am making this dream that I've had for so long, a reality.
At the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, is to play the best Overwatch we can against the best players we can to prove that we're the best.
Everybody, Big Hungry Phil here with a note of thanks to Opinion Outpost for sponsoring the Trial of Champions. Want to make some extra cash? Well, earn money through Opinion Outpost by just sharing your opinion. All you've got to do is fill out some surveys. You can make money while watching streams, queuing for a game, or even waiting for your teammates to group up for one final overtime push on the point. Use Opinion Outpost to get that skin you've always wanted. There's nothing better than treating yourself to some well-deserved loot boxes after a long competitive grind. Visit the link to start making money today.
Hello and welcome back to Trials of Champions. Gorilla Grip Gaming versus Last Second here in round one of the losers bracket. Gorilla Grip up 2-0 puts them in a very good spot, but Last Second, I couldn't think of a name more fitting than a team that might have the potential to reverse sweep here, Dryad.
Definitely, because we are match point now, this puts a lot of pressure into Last Second to make that reverse sweep happen. They had some really, really good opportunities to do so, but now it's going to come to the real challenge. It's not going to be easy, definitely, but it is possible. When you figure out the composition that Gorilla Grip Gaming feels comfortable in, you can figure out how to counter specifically. We mentioned that they're really, really good at that brawl style. That benefits them so, so much. But when they get out of that composition, they are out of their comfort zone, and that's when we've seen Last Second pop off so much. So if they can take advantage of this throughout the next map, this is going to benefit them and possibly give them the victory.
Very certain here for the side of Gorilla Grip Gaming if they are able to maintain that. But I mean, we say the word dominance here, but overall, Gorilla Grip has been struggling against the Last Second. These have not been an easy two maps so far. And we're going to see if that trend continues here as we look towards Hollywood as our hybrid map.
Yeah, especially for Hollywood, there is going to be a lot of an interesting composition that we will be seeing from both sides. For the defenders especially, I'm very curious to see what they're going to run with. I believe it's going to be Gorilla Grip Gaming, and if they want to use the rush composition that they feel so comfortable in, it's not going to be easy, but it'll definitely give them the advantage into holding control of the high ground. It's so important to that first point. But then also looking on the other side, looking at Last Second and how good they are at that dive composition, it could allow them to just get a few picks very, very early on. If you see Gorilla Grip Gaming on the Zenyatta especially, you can use him, you can take him down very early on, just put a lot of pressure to the Mercy to come with the rest, and then that could also get canceled.
Yeah, as we've seen last second, not afraid of running something along the lines of Echo Ash. Ash could be very dominant here on Hollywood, as we know that second streets phase, or the second point streets phase, does have quite a bit of high ground, allows you to poke from relative safety. You pretty much have to commit your tanks to going and dealing with that if you're on the side of Gorilla Grip. Maybe you send a Reaper up there with Wraith Form, but either way, a difficult diversion of manpower should last second choose that avenue of attack.
And yeah, definitely looking into what both of these teams have played, it just seems like the smartest idea would be playing the Winston Diva. Taking control of the high ground, not only when you're defending, when you're attacking, but also into the second point, the streets phase is going to be so important. Whoever takes control of the high ground is going to be really important, and just being able to get a few picks, especially when we see already the defense coming from Gorilla Grip Gaming, that gives us the pretty much what we expected from them, seeing this Reinhardt being played out, which could definitely work, is definitely good at holding the space that they need to, but last second could already predict this and play around it.
We'll certainly have to find out. Gorilla Grip not breaking the mold too much. Pretty much it's just going to be that tank line rather ultra shifting between the Winston and Reinhardt now. So last second does leave the gate. They will be seeing that Moira orb and dealing with it post haste. Just going to be lining up to perhaps pick out their dive target coming through, but Demetar actually going to be diving through that side alleyway, perhaps looking for a wrap around, a little bit of boa constrictor action should they be able to find it, and they're going to be trying to find any damage as well as they can. Yankee taken from on high here, trying to just get this poke damage, trying to get some cluster bombs going out. Can't quite find a whole lot here just yet, but now it's the battle starting to engage as that Reaper is here, encroaching on the high ground, meaning that Demetar has to take it a step back, make sure that they don't take too much damage, and now last second regrouping for the moment.
Last second had a really good start, taking control of the high ground like we saw them do before, but only that Reaper was enough to push them back. Now they have to play more aggressive, take control of it. Those off angles are going to be so important, especially for the Diva, and now going to get more value out of it.
As we look, it's going to be Yankee still up in the sky, trying to rain down, and last second now going to be the ones wrapping around, ensuring that there's so many angles of attack for Gorilla Grip, who do seem to struggle with that multitude of options. Fallacy here, and now we're seeing Client clean up, and Gorilla Grip Gaming seems to be able to wrap around so far so well.
The off tanks, or every single team that we've seen today, have been doing so good. Client always getting those final blows, pushing everyone back. The self-destruct is going to be ready in just a few seconds, while Samaritan only has 62% of that ability, so that's where you start seeing the difference between the tank lines for these two teams. It will give a huge advantage to Gorilla Grip Gaming into the next fight.
You see last second pushing up onto the high ground as is normal for them. Shaq goes in with the Transcendence. It's going to be last second looking to swing in, goes for a pin, does manage to find it, but it's going to be Bun who gets taken down. The Coalescence just overwhelming onto Timothy Reinhardt. Client with the 3K from the Diva Bomb, looking strong here. That might have helped Gorilla Grip pull it back just a moment, but the Reinhardt going a bit too deep, gets caught out by Berserky, and now all of a sudden things have gone a little bit lopsided for Gorilla Grip, who getting pushed upon.
Klein does it again, the 3K with the self-destruct, and not something that many Divas are able to do, but he is definitely one of the ones who does it best. Now, the Bun is trying to get some hacks, trying to get some value out of it. It's not going to be easy right now for Gorilla Grip. A lot of pressure being put, but they know how to handle it.
And we see that Reaper creeping around in the back. Zira has the Death Blossom in pocket, drops it, gets both the supports, taken down by Samaritan, but it might not be enough. No lifeblood pulsing through the veins of last second as the remaining members have to get away.
Only one tick that they have been able to get, and 1 minute remaining, about 5 seconds as well. So they still have about 1 or 5, maybe 2 if they make it quickly, but it doesn't seem like that will be the case, knowing that Shaq is going to be on that Sienna again. That makes him play a little bit slower, making sure that he is staying alive. So many ultimates have to come through, and they have to happen now, but their rotation from Gorilla Grip Gaming have been so good that last second hasn't really figured out what to do around it.
Last second does have the self-destruct and the primal to keep this fight going for just a little bit longer. The sound barrier coming in from Basilisk ensures that this fight keeps Gorilla Grip up in the initial. And Demetar and Berserky both getting taken down in that initial. As mentioned, self-destruct coming online. Doesn't land too much, but Samaritan able to get a remech. Now the Valk's coming out from Like. This fight's looking like it might go in the distance here. The Winston slugging away in this small cafe. Has to be careful not to fleet those ultimates. Second tip of time here. Now 15 seconds left. Client throwing in the Diva Bomb. Zones out the point just a little bit. Ultra with a pocket with that Earth Shatter goes in, lands. Not on it too much, however. Looks like the EMP is going to be short up from one, getting all 5 members. That Tracer not able to get away from Client. What else do you expect but the cleanup from Gorilla Grip? Overtime is going to tick down, and it's only going to be about 57% for last second.
And we were talking about that second point, but that won't even happen for them because now what we need to be seeing is Gorilla Grip Gaming playing a little bit more aggressive, and they will definitely do so, especially when they're playing around the composition that benefits them the most. For that second, it was very tough just figuring out how they wanted to engage. It seemed like they didn't fully understand and fully dive like they were supposed to with the composition that they were running. That puts them in a really tough spot. Once again, this is match point, so a lot of opportunities for the Gorilla Grip Gaming, and they have everything to do so. They have amazing players so far. The DPS lineup keeps getting those picks, and if that wasn't enough, Client has been popping up from beginning to end on that Diva, knows exactly how to get value out of it, who to dive on, who to peel for, and just getting those self-destructs that we've seen over and over again, getting a 3K, absolutely amazing, allows the team to take control of the point.
Yeah, off tanks not as dominant as we've seen in prior metas. I'm looking pretty much at you, Goats, but Client certainly making a name for it. We've seen some excellent Diva play coming through here. And now, as we look ahead, Gorilla Grip not going to be running their traditional Sombra Reaper, rather, but a Doomfist Genji.
That just shows me that they have a lot of confidence into what they want to play. We're still trying to figure out if they want to stick to that composition or not. But I think they will be playing exactly that, what we were expecting. And, well, this is ideal. If it's not broken, there's no reason to try to fix it. They are doing so good now. They just have to figure out, once again, how to take the high ground and get a few picks. They will definitely do so.
Gorilla Grip already going to be wrapping around, taking that exterior angle. Trying to just put pressure. That Wisdom Shield's gonna go down, so not a lot of shielding available for last second. Gorilla Grip gonna see this opportunity to take the high ground, push down right in Zero, getting the kill onto Demetar. That is a great opening with no Winston there to mitigate that damage, no Primal to have to worry about. This looks like it's gonna fold immediately in Gorilla Grip's favor, and just like that, they are pretty close to wiping the field.
Just like that, they will be taking the point. It doesn't seem like anyone from Blaskin is going to be able to get there. And exactly like we thought, Gorilla Grip Gaming takes the victory here. 3-0 on the loser's bracket, and they are looking so good. The composition, when they get to play it, they are unstoppable.
That Gorilla Grip Gaming gonna be looking very dominant with a 3-0 over last second. We are tuning in with the play of the game. The big EMP coming through from Bun, ensuring that 3-man kill from Client. You can't ask for much more, Triad.
Definitely. And like I always mention, I just love seeing the off tanks popping off a little bit more, because usually you don't see the self-destructs getting that many kills. You don't see the Saryas getting recognition for grabbing the surges. But when this happens, it's just amazing. Client was able to do it twice on this match, and I'm just so excited to see what he's going to bring in the future on this playstyle. There are so many different playstyles, especially for Diva and especially in this composition. But the aggression that he decides to take is what's benefiting his team so much over and over again.
And it's going to have to be the continued aggression coming through with Gorilla Grip. And are not quite out of the fire just yet. Excuse me. But now we are about ready to throw up that MVP poll. So make sure you're voting in chat, as we will be taking it to a quick break. We'll be coming back with an interview, so make sure you throw up those votes. Be right back. Hello and welcome back, everybody. We are off the back end of our game between Gorilla Grip Gaming and Last Second. Gorilla Grip coming up 3-0, so all roses versus Last Second. We did just see the MVP pull up there, and we heard you guys. It's going to be Client in once again. So, Client, welcome.
Sup?
Now, Client, we saw some big diva bombs coming through, and as a tank player, I want to know, do you just have an intrinsic innate knowledge for those, or is it kind of just a throw it and see what sticks kind of situation?
Well, there's signs of when you should bomb, so I guess it's kind of innate, yeah.
Okay.
But against those comps that have like Ash or Echo, like if you just look for their cooldowns and when they use them, you can know when to bomb and get value with it.
Fantastic.
Okay. And then also, I mean, talking about the diva, I think it's really, really interesting because we see a lot of players, a lot of off tanks being a little bit more passive, not only with your ultimate ability, but just in general. Every move that they do is a little bit more passive, just trying to play slow or play around your team. But you were definitely out there. You were diving into everyone, getting the kills. Also, the self-destruct that we mentioned 2 times where we got 3 kills. Is that just something that you always do? Is that your sort of play style? Is that something that you only apply because of this matchup?
Well, our team likes to play pretty aggro. We play a lot of the Sombra Reaper comp. We can play the Echo Ash comp. And that's when we usually play like more slow, and then I'm not going in. But when we have like the Reaper Sombra comp, we're just brawling super hard, so I'm going pretty aggro with that.
Yeah, and we do have to mention that you are in the losers bracket and you did lose your prior match. So how was the mental going into this match? Were you ready? Were you confident? Or were you a little bit doomed knowing that knowing that you weren't really sure how to play? Or just how did you reset your mental for your team?
I mean, the seeding for this round of 16 thing was pretty scuffed. I'm not gonna lie. Like we know we shouldn't have been knocked into losers bracket. Team Pug or whatever they're called is really good. So there was really no shame in losing to them. So we weren't like tilted or anything. Plus Bun wasn't there. So like computer exploded or something. He was like trying to fix his computer. So we had to play our good buddy Booty Blaster, who's a really good Doom. It's just he doesn't really play anything else besides Doom. So we had to force Doom in that, and obviously against a really good team, Doom is pretty bad. So yeah, they beat us, scuffed seeding, but it's whatever. We'll just run it up in the losers bracket. We don't really care. We don't like matter or anything.
And I just have one more question on that topic. So your team seems really, really confident, and so I just want to know: is this something that has always been going on? It seems like you guys have a lot of support, a lot of fans. I don't know if it's the name. I don't know if it's the players. What do you think is just making your team be highlighted over and over again in this tournament?
Well, I think one of the things is our name. It's pretty funny, or at least I think it is. We're gonna have to rebrand though, so stay tuned for that chat. We won't be Gorilla Grip Gaming for much longer. After Trials of Champions, we're not allowed to be this anymore, so we will be rebranding. But that's only one part. I think another part is just because we're kind of randoms. Like let's be honest here. Like a lot of the good teams, they have really good, really well known players, but us, we got the Trials, and like people are like, who the hell is this team? So being the underdog in like every match definitely has given some clout to us, I guess.
Fantastic. Now, Client, we are about ready to wrap it up. Want to give you thanks for hopping in here, answering a few of our questions for us. But before we let you go, do want to give you the opportunity for any shout outs you might have towards your team or otherwise.
Shout out to my girlfriend. She doesn't know I exist yet, but I'm working on that. So yeah, other than that, that's fun.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Client looking for girlfriend, LFG, if you prefer. But once again, thank you, Client, for tuning in. Congratulations on your 3-0 against Last Second.
Yes, sir. Hashtag get a grip, everybody.
And with that, Dryad, I think we are about ready to wrap it up here. Overall, been an exciting series of games, even if the scoreboards were a little bit one-sided.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm very, very excited to see what the teams have to bring when we see them playing again. Definitely want to see more Gorilla Grip Gaming, so we have to keep an eye on that.
I'm sure we will certainly be keeping an eye on them as we go along. But from all of us here at ELO Hell, thank you for tuning in to this day of Trial of Champions. We hope to see you guys next time. But until then, take care, everybody.